Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to RaceSpotTV and welcome to the 2015 World Cup of iRacing. Now, in a couple of moments' time, we're going to do our jobs. And for the fourth year in a row, I'm going to lead commentary of the World Cup of iRacing. But first, we need to take a moment to reflect. Club France, they're not in the 2015 World Cup of iRacing. But of course, yesterday we had the horrific attacks of Paris. Now, we're not political commentators. We're not here to talk about the whats, the whys, the rights, the wrongs, or anything. Our job tonight is to broadcast what is one of the most exciting competitions in all of sim racing. But before we get there, we have to take a moment to remember those who lost their lives, the 129 people confirmed dead. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to remember those who lost their lives yesterday. We're going to pause, then we're going to start our broadcast, and we're going to do what you guys came to see tonight. That is watch sim racing. We're going to take a moment to reflect. We'll be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2015 World Cup of iRacing.com finals, where once again we're going to have 5 of the world's greatest sim racing clubs do battle on the ovals and on the road courses. And when all is said and done tonight, we will have ourselves a World Cup champion. Now, so far, there's only been 2 clubs that have been able to hold that prestigious prize and that prestigious name. That has been Club DH and Club Finland. In 2010, 11, it has been DH. We've had ourselves Finland, we've had ourselves DH, then Finland once again. At one point, DH won 3 in a row. Finland have won it twice. Could it be the day that UK and Ireland get themselves their first World Cup championship? Could it be the day of Club Northwest? Or could it be the day that we all go, oh, Canada, as Canada enter as the wild card, and could they cause the upset of all upsets? As far as the seeding goes, this has been one of the closest that we have had in World Cup of iRacing history. Just 15 points separating Finland, UK and Ireland, and DH. 15 points over splits and both road course and ovals. That is all separated those clubs as they won their respective groups. Club Northwest, they won Group D. They brought themselves a wild card in Club Canada. But now, it's time to let the racing do the talking on the racetrack. As we are here live from Homestead, Miami Speedway, the site of the final NASCAR round of the season that in just literally a couple of weeks' time will be providing host to this magnificent racetrack, to the final round of the 2015 NASCAR season. But first, we've got the World Cup of iRacing. Will Vincent here, along with Adam Young from Club Texas, as we're just a couple of moments away from getting things underway. Let's have a look then. We've got a couple of drivers still on track. Qualifying has got 4 minutes until it's going to be scored complete. We're having ourselves a look on board with Rob Reed in the Club UK Ireland number 22 car. He's currently down in P5 in qualifying. You've got yourself Sapala, who's just completed his qualifying laps there. In the Club Suomi, Club Finland number 1, 2, 3 machine, Jukka Sovalainen is on track. He is bringing his car out. He is going to do himself 2 qualifying laps. But we'll turn our attention first then to Rob Reed. He works himself now onto a flying lap down in towards turn number 1 and 2. He will come. It's a 180-degree corner on both ends of the racetrack. It's got itself parabolic banking of 18 degrees at the bottom and 20 degrees on top. And Adam, of all of the ovals Club Finland, as the defending World Cup champions, could have picked, this arguably is the one that's going to provide the best racing outside of a plate track.
It really is, you know, and the fact is that with that parabolic banking, the difference in the banking, you really feel it when you're behind the wheel. And you're going to see a lot of cars try different lines, and that's what lends this place to great racing. And I think we're going to see that today on the World Cup of iRacing.
Well, Rob Reed couldn't improve, but there is the driver of Jukka Sovalainen. We're right on board with him down in P number 6. He's done his laps. So now this is the case of him bringing that car back on towards pit road. But Sahil Mustak there in the number 24 machine. There you can see the number 24 double-mint car, Club UK Ireland, out of turn number 4, heading himself down towards start finish line. That's his second lap, and he will remain in P number 8 on track. No drivers look as though they'll really got a chance to move themselves up in the field too much. Drivers have done qualifying times. We're just waiting for them all now to come down on towards pit road. We should be in a good place actually to talk to you now about qualifying for this round, the first round of the 2015 World Cup of iRacing Finals. So much to talk about here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live, but here is a look at your qualifying results as they stand. So it's going to be Tommy Hacker there for Club Finland starting this race on pole position. Qualifying time 31.091. Sapala will make it an all Finland front row of the grid. Then from Finland we go to Club Diat with Stefan Nobis and Mark Melcher. They are row number 2. Row 3, your first Club UK Ireland driver of Rob Reed on the inside. He's joined by Jukka Sovalainen on the outside of that third row grid. And then you got yourself the Finnish sensation. You see him in World Championship action. His name is Alexi Aloma. He will start on the inside of row number 4. Sahil Mustak there on the outside of the 4th row of the grid. Then row number 5, it's Finland versus Diat. Marco Penton on the inside and Thomas Ribbin on the outside. Row 6, Simo Lappinen and Doug Pickering. With then row number 7 being Niels Koch and Sasha Westler. With Robbie Verbal Jr. and P15 inside of row number 8. Frank Shishwich there on the outside of that 8th row of the grid. Then Matthew Dalton, Jake Forrester, they are down in row number 9. Northwest, Sean Britzman and Mark Walt in P19, P20. Then it's an all North American row number 11 and 12. Eric Gerard Depril in P number 21. Chad Barker, 22. Drew Lalonde in 23. And Chris Seymour for Club Canada in P number 24. We head on back and you can see that a remainder of your drivers, Chris Beck, Ray Partridge for Club Northwest, Alex Bergeron and Mark McFadden for Club Canada. And then finally, Fernando Cardasso and Aaron Mespero at the rear end of your field. No qualifying time set. I'm going to ask you the first question here. Are you surprised, Adam, that you've got yourself the Northwest clubs and the Canadian clubs at the rear of your field on the oval segment of this event?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm a little surprised that Mark Walls is as far back as he is. I think that he probably, he didn't get down at probably as good of a lap as what he wanted to. I think he's probably at least another 10th faster than what he is. But other than that, I'm not really all that surprised. I really think that you're going to see Finland, DH, and UK really dominate this race. And where the Northwest Club and the Canadians are really going to want to do is try to take advantage of those other clubs having trouble as the race goes along.
Well, there you can see the field are starting to grid here on RaceSpotTV. That means we've got a moment very quickly to take you away. We'll be back for the green after this message. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this, the 2015 World Cup of iRacing here on RaceSpotTV and also streaming live on iRacing Live. So then let's have a look then at these cars. Our aerial coverage here today is brought to you by Antoine Design, the official graphics partner of RaceSpotTV, as we get ourselves a look then. You can see this isn't like a normal oval. We've got ourselves two 180-degree corners, and they are each perfectly banked between 18 degrees at the bottom and 20 degrees at the top. I want to draw our attention very quickly to the Club UK and Ireland drivers. There you can see Rob Reed in the number 22 car. We're talking about all the teams throughout the course of this event, but you need to go to the front of the field, and there you can see you have yourself the drivers of Club Finland at the front end of this field. We've got ourselves an all-finish front row to kick off another year of the World Cup of iRacing Finals. Don't forget, there are two splits going on simultaneously. This event will likely dominate the point, but it's not the end of the story. Pace car on towards pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Cup of iRacing is officially underway.
This has been very characteristic of the Finns. You can see them getting out to a really good start. Expect them to try to get in line and try to separate themselves a little bit from the UK Row 2.
Yeah, you can see there that the front row of the grid by Finland, they could do themselves a little bit of tactics, figure out exactly where they wanted to go in that restart zone. But here we can see then Club Northwest.
Trouble already.
Caution is out, and it's in the middle part of your field, and that one, well, you got yourself Chad Baker slowing himself right way down, but that is a Club Canada car upside down and around. That is a number 72 car by the looks of it, and that is Robbie Vabel Jr. There you can see him there. Well, we got ourselves a lap in, and we so often see this at the start of World Cup of iRacing over event, that is where the drama is going to be. And on a three-lane racetrack, it's very easy to have some issues. As you can see, Robbie Vabel Jr. there, having a look on board of him. That's the UK and Ireland driver into the wall by the looks of it as well. And then Fable Jr. upside down and around. Now, that's a horrible thing for him. Trying to figure out who else is involved. You can see there, number 112 car, Robbie Vabel Jr. is involved. Chris Beck is okay, but we've got ourselves a couple of other people involved. That's Chad Barker, I can see on pit road. Damage to his number 51 machine, and also number 97 Club Canada car also involved in that one. And I am Adam, bad crash at the start of this event.
It really is, and right at the start of that crash, you can see 3 Finns involved in that crash right off the bat, and everybody just piled in behind him after contact with the UK driver. And it's a chain reaction type crash. It happens even when you have 3 lanes of separation. Sometimes when things happen in front of you, there's just nowhere to go, and that's a classic case. But now you're going to have to wonder, we have no faster pairs in this race. How are the Finns going to be able to recover from losing 3 cars pretty close to right off the bat?
Yep, so let's have a look. There's Seymour Lappin, and then you can see some damage to his race car. But the big story, Niels Kort for Club Diach. He's one of the big people out of the race at the moment. Drew Lalonde on pit road, and you've also got yourself Matthew Dalton there. He's the club captain for Club UK and Ireland, and that car, it looks as though that is going to be him done for the day. So the BritishSimRacers.com, Club UK and Ireland Machine are suffering issues. Club Diat suffering of issues. Club Finland already are smiling pretty at the front of this field, because let's have a look. They got themselves the top 2 drivers. Then you got yourself Stefan Nobis right there in the Club Diat car in 3rd. Mark Meschler runs himself in 4th for Diat. Rob Reed in 5th, but then Alexei Loma is in P6 right now. Finland must be happy. 3 drivers inside of your top 6, Adam.
Yeah, the question is going to be is who's going to be behind them at this point. But it's going to be very interesting, because now what you're going to have is you're going to have 2 packs. You're going to have some damaged cars out there. You're going to have these front runners, and these front runners are going to catch those guys pretty quick. But in the grand scheme of things, since we have multiple splits going on, who's going to be able to get the most points out of this race? And right now, Finland, despite losing 3 cars, if they can keep their other guys right toward the front of that pack, they're going to be looking pretty good here as the race goes along.
Yep, so there we can see then we're working ourselves on lap number 4 of 90 right now here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. And don't forget, after this race, we head ourselves over to Suzuka, and that will be in the Dallara DW12. And if you like Dallara IndyCar racing, we've got a little bit of a competition going on right now on RaceSpotTV. It's between ourselves, RaceSpotTV, in partnership with IndyCar.com, Racing Magazine, and Verizon. Every Tuesday night, it's the biggest private hosted league in the world. It's the 16th Street Racing League, officially sanctioned as the official sim racing series of IndyCar. That goes head-to-head with the NASCAR Pro Series of oval racing, as pace car is in. Green flag is going to be back in the air. 4 of 90 going to be scored complete. We'll talk more about the Tuesday night madness in a moment's time, because you can see we've got ourselves a little bit of bumping going on. That's Alexei Loma there pushing one of the DX drivers high in towards turn number 1. I think Alexei wanted to cause a bit of a moment there, Adam even.
That's all right there, Will. It's possible, he just didn't get as good of a restart as Alexei did, and he really got into him, pushed him into the corner, just to try to keep that front pack going. It's a very common tactic sometimes you'll see, especially with these Xfinity cars. They're a little bit down on horsepower, and if you're going to see some really big differences between drivers on restarts.
Yeah, of course, this car was known as a nationwide car till recently. Of course, it became the NASCAR Xfinity Series as part of a partnership, of course, with NASCAR and NBC Sports. Xfinity are owned by Universal, of course, the same group, etc. But here we can see Tommy Hacker, Stefan Nobis right now. We've got ourselves Club DX. They've moved themselves up into P2 as it stands. So it's then Finland from Diat, from Finland from Diat. There you go, top 4 right now. Rob Reed in P number 5 for Club UK and Ireland. And then you got yourself Alexei Loma in P6 for Club Finland. But we're riding on board right now with Loma, and this looks like a very close battle between Zapata, Melchler, and Reed. This is P3 through P number 5 right now, and these guys are dicing it out. And then you can see Melchler looking down to the inside there of the Club Finland driver. That was going to be close anyway. And one thing that these guys need to know, Adam, is that that inside line, because it's lesser banked, it makes it very difficult to hold that inside line. In fact, the best way to pass the driver around here is if you've got the 3rd lane all to yourself.
Absolutely. That high line, and especially if we are able to get some longer runs, you're going to see that playing more and more of a role. And one thing to note is, from the previous stage of the World Cup into this stage, while we're still at Homestead, the weather's a little bit different. We're seeing less winds, and I think you're really going to see that play more of a role right here in turn 4. The car's going to handle a little bit better, but that's also going to allow that high line to become more of a role, and I think actually earlier on in the run than what we were seeing there last week.
Well, there you can see Rob Reed stopping out right now, and Mark Melchler. Of course, we've got to think about long-run cars versus short-run cars, as Reed still sticks himself to the outside line there. And that's the Club Diat driver pinching him to the outside line as they come down into 3 and 4. Now, this is a phenomenon you don't often see at racetracks, but the reason why Melchler wanted to push Reed as far up the racetrack as possible into 3 and 4 wasn't because he wanted to get him into the grey there, Adam. It's because of the fact that Melchler wanted to run that middle lane down into turn 3 and 4.
Absolutely, and you're going to get the better run in that middle lane. Really the preferred lane, probably right now, just a couple laps into the run. When you look at the track, you got that little bit of gray in that separation in that lane, and that's where you want to have that left front wheel planted probably at this part of the run, and that's the line that he wanted to run. And if he can get underneath them right there, he's going to have that better advantage coming off the corner.
Seems to be that your big battles involved Club UK Ireland versus Club Diat, as we've got ourselves right now the driver of Frank Sukrowicz involved with Adam Sparrow. Got ourselves a couple of drivers having a little bit of issues that's just showing up and down on our timing and scoring sheet. When I have a look down the field just a little bit, there you can see you yourself Fernando Cordasso in the Club Canada car versus Mark Waltz there in the Club Northwest car. Two Northwest cars pretty much running nose to tail right now. You can see up in the field, you've got yourself another Northwest driver stepping out with the double O car there of Sima Lappinen, and that is the Pino 14 on track. And it is so easy in this event, Adam, for us to focus on the Diat versus Finland versus UK and Ireland battle. But the thing is, this race, this championship will be won and lost when Northwest and Canada get involved. Even if they don't win the event, they don't score the most points, but when they take points away from the big clubs, that is how this World Cup will be won.
Yep, that's what they're trying to do. You know, we've already seen a big incident on track. You know, with this racing as tight as there is, you know, I think almost most of the groups in the last week, each of them had 3 cautions. I really think we might see maybe 3 or 4 cautions in this race just because we're running a lot closer together. But don't forget, we've got 3 Northwest guys pretty much running nose to tail. Fernando's trying to mix that up a little bit. But even behind them, you have Ray Partridge kind of taking up. And if they can get in line, all 4 of those cars, Northwest could try to move forward a little bit, and especially take advantage of those guys having trouble. You know, that we're going to be here within the next 20, 30 laps starting to think about pit stops. And if, you know, the more closer your team cars are together, the better the communications could be. We can get on it and off pit road faster and together. But that's if we're going to see some long green flag runs. That part remains to be seen.
I'll tell you one thing. Most people will know the fact that when I do actually drive a race car, I drive an Indy car. This track has been my favorite track and my least favorite track all at the same time because of that one thing, pit road. Getting on and off a pit road here is harder than most oval tracks. I'd say it's as difficult to pit here as it is at the Indianapolis. But caution on the racetrack. Caution is on the racetrack, and I can see there Chad Barker is involved by my looks at the look of it there. So our second caution of the day. So all this talk about, are we going to have ourselves another caution? We're going to get ourselves pit stop. We have ourselves another caution. Talk us through it there, Adam.
There you go. And as far as the caution goes, you know, we already know we are going to see everybody come down pit road as soon as they're able to. I mean, here tires are going to be everything. Getting a look at the caution now, what happened. Chad is still trying to find it actually here, Will.
Oh, my. I saw a car getting loose off turn 3 and 4. It was a Club Northwest car that I saw getting loose, but I can't see anything on my timing and scoring that actually shows a reason for that caution. So we're going to try and have ourselves another look at it and try and figure it out, because we've got a couple of people that's shown down as, oh, 46 machine. 46 machine, there we can see it, sideways across the racetrack, tagged the wall, exit of turn number 4. Well, that one is just pure cliche there. The exit of turn number 4 has bitten so many drivers. Most famously, 2010, Will Power at the last ever Verizon IndyCar Series race at this racetrack, exit turn number 4, Will Power tagged the wall on the outside. He brushed high. In this case, Sean Breedsman started pushing high, tried to correct the car, gets himself loose on the exit of the corner, and, well, slides onto the outside retaining wall. His day is likely done for that Club Northwest number 46 machine there, Adam.
Absolutely. I mean, he might be able to get back out there, but you know he's going to be running down some. He's going to be running some really slow lap times. It's important for Northwest that he get back out there. You're going to need every single point that you can possibly get. But if you look at it, I mean, most of the time, most of the guys have been having trouble, particularly during the group stage and everything. Was a little bit further into the exit of turn 4. He started having trouble kind of a little bit further back, and it's almost as soon as he got right behind the Club Canada car. And I'm wondering if maybe he just lost the front end, lost all the grip, and overcorrect into the outside wall.
Well, here's the fascinating part of this. Dave Forrester doesn't want tyres by the looks of it. There's the reason why. You'll notice it on your screen right now. 8.3 second pit stop. You compare that to the pit stops of the guys behind him. There you can see. 14.2 seconds for Tommy Hacker. 14.6 for Zapata, and Mark Melcher 15.2. That is right sides only for Jake Forrester. UK and Ireland lead this race based upon the fact that Forrester is going all out with 18 laps going to be scored complete the next time they cross the start or finish line. Adam, rolling the dice, is Jake Forrester for UK and Ireland. And we have to remember that of this club, Forrester is one of the most experienced oval racers that these guys have.
Absolutely. And Jake's awesome. Jake's fast. I'm going to be completely honest with you here, Will. I'm not quite sure about this move. I think if maybe we were a little bit closer to the end of the race, yes. I think the only way this is really going to play out for him is if we have another quick caution. But this is a 90-lap race. We still got 72 laps to go. And I really think that they're going to eat him up here on the restart, because even just a couple lap old tires, that really hurts you here. But Jake's experience, that might help him out a little bit here, but he is going to have his hands full on the restart, holding off the fins and holding off Diach here. But I'm betting he'll probably be in third place by the end of the first lap after the restart.
One thing I'm going to note very quickly before we quickly go to commercial is that it's great that I think all of the clubs have some form of symbolic reference to the events that have taken place in France over the last 24 hours or so. So thank you very much to all the clubs recognising that we are, yes, of course, running in one of the biggest club events of the year, but also we need to remember the fact that we are one community here on iRacing. We're not going to go to commercial. We are one to green, so we're going to stay with you live here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. We're going to have a look on board then with Tommy Hacker. He is in the number 91 Club Finland car, and you can just about see there Vive la France on the right-hand side there of the number 44 machine of Jake Forrester. We don't want to dwell upon this. Again, as I said at the top of this broadcast, we're not political commentators, we're broadcasters. But it is nice to recognise that the entire iRacing.com community has come together to recognise the fact that this is an atrocious act. The fact that innocent people have lost their lives. And it is so great to see the iRacing.com community recognising that and showing their solidarity and support. Number 26 machine of Doug Pickering just shows just one club and one driver's own feelings and emotions this evening. We're going to go back to the restart then with 19 laps scored complete here at Homestead Miami Speedway, out to 90. Let's get ourselves back to racing. Green flag back in the air. Here we go. One more time.
Jake did exactly what he needed to right there. As soon as the pace car pulled off, he jammed the gas, and he is going to try to go. His saving grace might be here is the fact that we've got Yari right behind there. He tried to take second place. He's going to get second place, and he was able to get out ahead while they were battling. But here they come. I really think that Jake is not going. He might actually do a little bit better than I thought he would his first lap after the restart, but I do not think he's going to hold the lead going into the next lap here.
I've got that feeling the next 5 laps will determine this World Cup of iRacing. It's done it in years previous, it will do it in years again. We see two-eyed racing. One little moment, one little bit of aggressiveness will determine the difference between who's in and who's out. 3 wide, down the back straightaway. Oh, look at this one. We talk about aggressiveness. We have got aggressiveness as they come down in towards turn 3 and 4. Finland about to the point, then Diaz, then UK and Ireland, then Diaz, but UK and Ireland on the outside. A wiggle for Forrester. This business, to quote JR, has just picked up there, and this is crazy right now, Adam.
That was a very exciting move, and it was set up when Jake kind of slid down the track. He kind of put the brakes on the momentum that the Diach guys had. They were getting ready to pass him 1-2. That allowed Finland to really try to get up there. And you notice, really, the only person that's benefiting right now is Yuri. He was able to get up there. Now, he's separated from his teammates, though. So now you have 3 different clubs running 1, 2, 3, depending on how this battle here between Diach and Rob Reed acts out.
Forrester's tyres are shot to pieces. I have seen him wiggle at least 3 times since this restart. There you can see him in that number 44 car. That car is running on the seams to try and get it to turn, but that driver is struggling right now.
And Mark's trying to make an aggressive move here going into turn 3. He might just get this lead from Yuri here, and I think he will. I think he's going to clear him here on the exit of 4.
Yep, so now it's going to be Diaz leading the way then from Cup Finland as they work themselves past the start-finish line. 23 of 90 scored complete. Don't forget, this is one of 2 splits in this event here today, so there's plenty of racing going on. And we always say this event will dominate the standings, but it doesn't conclude it. We still got ourselves another event that will be important here, as we got ourselves right now leading. It is Club Diaz. Then we've got ourselves Club Finland, then Club UK and Ireland. Diaz, Finland, UK and I, then Finland. There's an important statistic right there. We've not got a Northwest car or a Canadian car in the top 8. 22 machine there. Looking down to the inside, it's for Finland versus UK and Ireland versus Diaz there. That almost ended up in catastrophe. Down for P number 2, 3, 4, and 5 there, Adam.
Yeah, and you know, that right there was a classic case of what we were talking about a few minutes ago. Rob wanted that preferred line. Yuri wasn't going to give it to him, and you almost had some contact there. Thankfully, Rob backed out of the gas a little bit, decided that discretion was the better part of valor. But expect Rob Reed to try to get another run on him here and try to steal P2 away.
Well, here we can see down in the field a little bit side-by-side racing between Frank Sudowicz, and he's scrapping it out with Aramis Barrett and Tommy Hacker. This is 3 drivers going to go 3 wide, almost in towards turn number 3 and 4. No, not just yet, but 91 and 41 will go past the 44 machine of Jake Forrester. Forrester started this restart in the first place. He is now down in P number 9. I tell you what, Adam, you're right.
Yeah, tires are going to be everything here, and I'll tell you, from our personal experience running last week and just experience with Homestead, even after about 20 laps, you're losing already about anywhere between 15 and 25% of your tread, depending on your setup, and that makes a world of difference here. You can just look at the lap times and see how much they've fallen off even since just the start of the restart, and see how far also Jake Forster's fallen back. Tires can be everything. Every time the caution comes out, you're going to need to come in and most likely get all 4. I think even if you don't even think about 2 tires unless you've only had like a 2 or 3 lap run.
Yeah, as you can see there, Forrester right now is being battled, hunted down by Frank Sudowicz, but out front, you got yourself Jursa Parda versus Rob Reed, and this is the battle for P number 2, P number 3 on track as it stands. Having a look at ourselves then from the rear of Jursa Parda to Rob Reed as they head themselves down past the start finish line in towards turn number 1 once again. And for Zapata, of course, he is up, well, nothing since the start of this event. Rob Reed is running himself in the number 22 machine down in 3rd as we ride ourselves along board with him. Business about to pick up once again down towards turn number 3 and 4. Rob Reed looking down to the inside, and that shows just perfectly how the middle lane works better than the inside line through the corner. But Reed got himself a very good run initially out the corner, but then Zapata got himself a better run down in towards turn number 1 and 2. This is really a 4-groove racetrack, and now you can see Reed saying, well, if we can't do it on the inside, let's try the outside line.
He's going to need to, and that might be what it takes to get around him. You know, you're going to have that momentum now on the high side. We're starting to, once again, get a little bit deeper into the run. You're going to start seeing that lane move up, particularly in 3 and 4, and that's going to be where you're going to have to get him. You're going to be looking for, try maybe a switch move or something like that, where you started inside going through 1 or 2, try to fake him thinking maybe you're going to go down to the one inside of 1 and 3 and 4, but really you try to switch back. It's going to be up to Yuri to really try to hold his line here, but this is a really good battle we got going on for 2nd place right now.
We've got another battle going on, and this is down at Forrester's, by the way, just dropped 2 positions. Forrester might have just hit out of this motor race by the looks of it. He's lost himself. Actually, he's not out, but he's just lost himself 6 positions in the space of, 1 corner by the looks of it. We need to get ourselves another look at that one, because Forrester just had the lap of all horrific laps that he could have had on board then with Forrester then through turn number 1 and 2. He touched the wall. He hit the wall. He whitewashed it. That was a Darlington stripe if there ever was one. And Forrester down 6 positions in 1 lap as a consequence of that one. While UK and Ireland has lost one of their best drivers. But 5-way battle going on for P number 10, 11, 12 going on. And this is great right now. Saho Mustang versus Club Northwest. 5-way battle going on for P number 10, 11, 12 going on, and this is great right now. Saho Mustang versus Club Northwest.
It really is, you know, and dirt great was all over the place. It looks like Rob Reed just completed his pass for second place. We've got Stefan trying to follow right behind him and trying to steal P3 now. You know, even going deeper back into the pack. Don't forget, we got a good battle here between Aaron and Tommy going on. It's a great race. This is really shaping up to be a great final for the World Cup here in Homestead.
And I don't want to jinx it. We're getting some green flag running. And that is what I like here in the World Cup of iRacing Finals. As we got ourselves Mark Waltz. We talked about Mark Waltz, and you said that you're disappointed about how poorly he qualified. Up 9 places, P11, hunting down Saho Mustang. Club Northwest even. Club Northwest are on the move right now, trying to get a driver into the top 10. And even if Northwest or Canada don't win this event, it's guys into the top 10 that will give them momentum going into 2016.
You know, and going back to Mark here, you know, this is going to be where Mark shines. The tires are starting to get a little older. He is going to, he's really aggressive, but at the same time, he's really smooth. He's going to be able to conserve those tires as we go into the long run and maybe try to grab another few positions here. You know, and that's, if you look at the lap speeds from his group, you can see that that's where he really shined, is at the tail end. They had a really long run, and that's what won him his group in that stage. Now, going back, Northwest, you've still got a couple of those guys running relatively close together, all within a span of just a couple of seconds. And if they're going to make a move here, and they're going to try to steal some points away, they may not get it as far as the overall final, but they are going to do some damage, and they are going to make themselves known.
Well, it'll be interesting to note as we go to commercial. Here's the gap between your P16 driver, and that is Ray Partridge right now, and your race lead. It is 6.7 seconds. I'll tell you one thing. As Partridge actually is going to move himself past Thomas Redbone there to move himself up into P number 15. You gain or lose 7 seconds in a NASCAR on and off the pit road. I tell you why. I know. I've done it. It's that hard getting on towards pit road at Homestead Miami Speedway. We'll take you RaceSpotTV side by side in just 1 moment's time. We will have to step away for just 1 second, but we'll be back with side by side in just 1 minute's time.
Hey guys, I'm Jack, and welcome to This Week on iRacing, a brand new series that covers this week's race schedules, live events, and iRacing news. Starting off the lineup with rookies, we have the Mazda Cup at Summit Point, and the Street Stock cars return to Charlotte. The Skip Barber car also hit Summit Point in the short configuration, while the Spec Racer Ford is at Interlagos.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are under caution. Mark Waltz is involved. Replay of that one is coming up now. We'll take you away from commercial. We'll show you what happened. So caution is out. Everything we're talking about, green flag pit stops. Throw that one out of the window. Let's ride ourselves on board then with the driver of Mark Waltz. They can see him in the Northwest car. Is it going to... That's the second Northwest driver we've seen involved. That's the same incident we saw from the Northwest driver earlier on today. Northwest did not like turn number 3 and 4, but it looks for Adam.
Yeah, you know, he was held down a little bit coming off of 4, and 4 is one place that you really want to have that higher line. If you try to hold it down too much, the back end does have a tendency to try to come out on you, and it doesn't matter what the winds are or anything else like that. But one casualty here, Simo from Finland, he really got nailed there by Jules Rond in the process of trying to avoid that accident.
Yeah, there's our super slow-mo replay then of Mark Walls in the number 20 position at the time. Number 18 machine, well, you know, we talk about Kyle Busch crashing, but he doesn't normally crash at this racetrack. He loves this racetrack. But the number 18 machine then turned around, and there you can see the double O machine just by my watch there, avoiding. But then he involved in the second incident, the double O car. So that's where you were talking about someone lapping him there, trying to find a way to get around the incident. Then he gets, you can see there, just pushed into the air. Let's try and have a look at that one from his perspective, because, well, Adam, we didn't see it in our first shot, but we turned our attention to him, and then all of a sudden, game over, as your entire front part of the field are on pit road as we expected, except for no one.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of learned the lesson that Jake Forster learned there a little while ago. You're going to have to come in for tires every single caution, every single opportunity you get. But speaking of Jake, this caution is really going to benefit him. You know, he's able to stop the bleeding. He's able to get on pit road, get 4 fresh tires, take care of some of that damage from earlier, and maybe he can try to work his way back up to the front.
Yep, so let's get ourselves a look at the front of this field. There's Mark Melcher. He leads the field out of pit road. Then Rob Reed, then Stephanopoulos. And I will say one thing. This caution has done something spectacular. Club Finland have gone from being leading this World Cup of iRacing, in my opinion, being third.
Certainly how things look right now. And, you know, the accident there right at the start of the race, there just a minute ago, you know, it's going to be tough, you know, and of course the big question is too, how are they doing in split 2? For all we know they're running right now 1 through 6. We don't know, and that could try to help make up for a little bit of the difference here. But over there, a win is just as good as an 11th place finish here in split 1. It's going to help you make up some points, but if these other clubs continue to have a really good day that they are right now, it's going to be tough to overcome, and they're really going to be having to look towards Sonoma to try to gain some ground. Excuse me, Suzuka to try to gain some ground.
I was going to say, we're going to see Sonoma. These guys will be very confused. We're going to take you RaceSpotTV side by side. We'll be back in just one moment's time with more after this. Green flag back in the air, 44 of 90 laps, scored complete. Here we go, one more time, Adam.
Rob Reed just got a really bad restart right there, right off the bat. Now you got Mark and Stefan trying to drive away, and he's getting a challenge from Alexi. He very well might lose P4, but as we saw there on that last real good green flag run, he's going to be good. I think he's going to be able to recover from this. But now it's going to be up to Stefan and Mark to try to get themselves some distance here. Run 1-2. They just need to run in line, try to get out in front.
Yeah, there you can see that. The Club UK Ireland versus Club Finland battle going on. You can see Alexia Loma side by side right now with Rob Reed for P number 3 and 4. Alexia Loma, let's ride on board then with the Club Finland driver, and he is in the 4th place right now. We've got battles going on all over the field. Second half of this motor race, well, we expect it to be as crazy as we can. I'll tell you one thing, Northwest have broken into the top 15 easily right now, and they're scrapping it out. Number 5, number 3 machine, Chris Seymour, of course, Club Canada. He wants to be in the top 10, and he wants to get himself past this guy, Frank Sikowicz, and he is in the number 50 machine for Club Diat as it stands up there. There's the battle going on behind him.
Right now, we got a 3 wide attempt here, and here is Jake Forster. He's trying to crawl his way back up to the front, just kind of like what we talked about. Fresh tires will really do him some good. And of course, we got Drew Lalonde right underneath Chris Seymour right now. He's going to try to fall in line, I think, right here, maybe try to mount another charge in a few, but he also is going to have to try to protect his position because we got Thomas Robin right behind him, sitting in P14, and another Northwest Club driver with Sean Britzman. And now we've got 3 Northwest drivers running nose to tail again toward the back of the field. Look for Mark Walls to try to recover a little bit from that accident too, assuming he was able to get all his damage repaired.
You saw Mark Melstar, he hit the wall for Club Diat. That is a game changer. He's lost himself 4 positions. He is now down in P number 6, and now it's Stefan Noppis leading for Club Diat, then Club UK Ireland, then it's Club Finland, and while Sahil Mustak right now side by side, 24 machine versus Tommy Hacker for P number 8 and 9. I said at the top of this broadcast, Diat versus Finland versus UK and Ireland is as close as we've ever seen it. In the history of the World Cup of iRacing, we've never seen these guys been this close, this often, and this separated. We've got ourselves UK and Ireland versus Finland versus Diat, all inside your top 10. They own the top 10, but it's not as easy as just saying one club is in front of the other.
Yeah, and it's important to note here right now too, we're only just a little bit past halfway. We got 40 laps still of this racing to go. Anything can happen. They're running great, they're running fast, and they're running aggressive. It is exactly what you want to see in this type of environment, representing their clubs well, representing their countries well in many cases. And it's a really fun race to watch here so far, and I expect it.
It's an interesting fact. You've got yourself 3, that's can't be right, you've got yourself 2 DX drivers, 3 Finnish drivers, and 3 UK and Ireland drivers. They are all separated inside of your top 8 as it stands. However, it's interesting to know that behind you got yourself 2 Club UK and Ireland drivers. My very basic math there just told me, Adam, that if this race were to end at the end of this lap, UK and Ireland would be in the lead of the World Championship.
Yeah, and that's, during the break we were talking about, who would be leading and what they'd have to do going into Suzuka. And it's the club that goes into the lead in Suzuka is obviously, it goes without saying, it'll be at the advantage. But a main part of that is the fact that in the DW12, at that track, it's going to be really hard. You can go into that race in a position where all you have to do is hold your lead that you gained from the oval side. We very well could be looking at our 3rd different world champion in UK and Ireland.
I want to give a shout out though to Club Northwest. Of course, they are going to be the forgotten club here today, but they have got themselves 4 drivers, nose to tail to tail to tail. They are not giving up, and also they're not only not giving up, they are there in the action as well. I love this strategy by Club Northwest. There you can see Drew Lalonde in P number 13. You got yourself his teammate Sean Brenton in P14, Mark Walton 15, P number 16 is Ray Partridge. If there's an incident on track, Northwest will bump themselves immediately into the top 10. Adam, I love this strategy of Club Northwest. And if you're not first your ass, this is, let's get ourselves flat number 90 and let's see what we can do from then on.
Pretty much. I think at this stage in the race, you're almost going to start to think backwards, coming in from lap 90, going back in thinking about pit strategy and everything else, and that could be where the advantage comes in. The fact that these Northwest guys running nose and tail, we talked about it a little bit earlier, they're going to have great communication coming onto pit road. We're due for at least one more pit stop before this race is over, at least for tires, if nothing else. And when running nose to tail like that, they're going to be able to get on and off. They're going to be able to get on and off efficiently. And right now, I don't think you're going to be able to see that with a lot of the other clubs. They're running too close together. In mixed club type of scenario, you very well could have an accident trying to come onto pit road, and that will change the dynamic all the way around.
I'll tell you what, I love Club Canada's car as well. There's a number 48 machine. They've been inventive and they've been entertaining as well. So, Club Canada, thank you very much for being a part of this World Cup of iRacing finals. And I'll tell you what, Beaver, Wood, I'm not going to make any comment, but number 48 machine, I'll tell you what, that looks better than the low Chevrolet like we normally see on Sunday afternoons. So, can we actually get Jim Johnson to drive that car instead, Adam?
Hey, it might take some doing, but, we might be able to talk him into it.
As you can see, Matt Dalton there, he is in the last Club UK Ireland car. He is down in P number 25, and he is 19 laps off the pace. That is horrific for him. To run through your official retirees, you got yourself Alex Bergen, Club Canada, out of the race. You got yourself Eric Godo at Depre there, out of the race. You got yourself Club Canada's down in P number 28. Then Niels Koss in 27th. Fernando Cordasso in 26th place. Matt Dalton will be essentially in P number 24 by the end of this one. But then you've got Sasha Welser. Club Canada have been bitten hard on the ovals at Homestead Miami Speedway here today. We have to say that we are now officially down to 4 clubs because, Adam, there's no way that Northwest can ever come back to having 4 drivers outside of the top 25.
I think you meant Club Canada there.
That's what I mean, Club Canada.
But, I want to go back to what Matthew Dalton is doing. He's staying out of the way. He's running the high line, just letting everybody go. He's not fighting. Obviously, he doesn't have the car to fight anymore. And I know some people frown on this, but on the oval side, sometimes it's what you have to do, especially in this type of environment where you're trying to gain points for your club. If something does happen at the front of that field, he could gain some spots, and that very well could play a role in trying to get UK and Ireland onto the next step and having a shot at the World Championship.
There's many different viewpoints here, you're right. And also, it's not, it's interesting because, of course, first of all, you've got to be able to drive the race car. If you can drive the race car, good, go out on track. If you can't, put it on pit road, park it, you're being unsafe. But, at the same time, for Dalton, he's gaining lap time, he's gaining lap positions. And it's points. Every point will be vital. Remember what I said at the top of this broadcast, Adam? 15 points separated these top 3 drivers in the points as they came into today's event. So it was 15 points in seedings. We resetted it for here today. But you can see, we've got close battles going on between Finland and UK and Ireland right now. P4, P5 between Jesse Pilot and Aramis Barrow. This is for P4 on track. And I'll tell you one thing, if one of these guys wins this battle, that will have a huge influence on who wins this World Cup.
Absolutely, and the race itself isn't even decided yet. You got Rob Reed out there. We've already seen what he can do on a slightly longer run, and we're already going into a longer run again. His car is going to become faster, and you can see he's already trying to put some pressure on Stefan. We go back. We still have Finland running 3 and 4 behind them, and they're not out of the running at all. And Aaron running P5 and then the UK and Ireland car. It is an exciting race. Nothing is set in stone. But what you're going to start to see is handling definitely become a lot more of an issue, and it's going to be interesting to see. One other point to make, Jake Forster worked his way back up to 8th place.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out very quickly, by the way, to Robbie Raybell Jr., because he is a Club Canada driver. We apologise for butchering your name. But we'll give it another go. That is Robbie Raybell Jr. there. Unfortunately, he is down in P number 28 for Club Canada, but we wish him all the best, and we hope maybe we'll see him at Suzuka as well in the Dallara DW12. On board right now in P number 12, this is Frank Stutowicz in the Club DH car. 63 of 90 laps, scored complete. Did we ever think we'd have this long a set of green flag runs? I don't think so, Adam. It's been a very green field to this event. Actually, the greenest field we have seen was side-by-side between Forrester and Hucker for P number 7 and 8, and that one will be Finland will easily win out.
Absolutely. You know, looking at Jake, I mean, he went into that corner. He kind of got stuck on the low side and back in, tried to come out just a little bit. And he was able to save it and keep going. It ended up costing him a spot, but he might very well still win this war, though. He just needs to drop back, collect himself, try again, let the tires cool down just a touch as well.
I think Hacker's the one that's falling back there. The number 91 car, you can see he's being passed right now by Doug Pickering. This is a P number 7, P number 8 on track to head themselves down, completing up number 64 of 90 here on RaceSpotTV and also on iRacing Live. Look at that Sumi car, number 91, all the way up in the grey as they head themselves through the exit of turn number 1 and 2. And is that going to be Doug Pickering going to find himself a way past? No, not just yet. Hucker down in that 7th place. He will retain that 2nd place, 7th place even for the time being. We are going to set you RaceSpotTV side by side very quickly, but we will be right back as you will not miss a moment when we go side by side. Never miss a moment with RaceSpotTV side by side. You never miss a moment here in the World Cup of iRacing Finals. The number 26 machine now, though, Doug Pickering for Club UK and Ireland. Well, he just got tagged hard down in turn number 3 and 4, Adam.
Absolutely. You know, it looked like he was just going to be a victim of that dreaded netcode that sometimes happens in iRacing, and slapped the wall pretty good. He's trying to get himself back together, but right now, falling back to 14th, he's going to have to, you know, probably wait until a pit stop here, see what else he can do, and try to get some spots back.
20 laps to go at the line. Here is your top 8 on your screen. Diach from UK and Ireland, then Finland from UK and Ireland, then Finland, Diach, Canada, and Finland. And here is your hero of the day, brought to you by And1 Design. It is the driver of Chris Seymour for Club Canada. He has moved himself up through the field, and well, he is up 17. I said it again, 17 positions here today. Seymour knows exactly what he's doing behind the wheel of that Xfinity car.
You know, and while he's up there, you know, the rest of his teammates, yeah, they've fallen apart, you know, fallen down in the standings. But he's sitting there right now, 7th place. He is stealing points from those other clubs right now. And those points that he steals, they're going to be to somebody's advantage here later on.
As you can see, he is still scrapping out. This is right now with Tommy Hacker for P number 8 on track as we speak. We see that Seymour is in that 7th position as it stands. And just ahead, we've got Yer Zapata in P number 5. Well, let's have a look through each of our clubs. Let's start first of all with Club Diaz, because they have been silent overall. And we've not really talked much about them. But here's the situation at Club Diaz. Yes, they're winning. But then their next driver is P6. Their next driver after that is in P number 11. Diaz have not won this event in terms of a group performance.
No, they haven't. And, you know, you're still sitting there right now. You know, this very well could end up being a battle between Finland and UK and Ireland as we go into Suzuka. Diaz is going to have to fight hard to get back into it. They're not completely out of the picture by any means. I mean, we still have a whole, you know, the other splits, a whole nother race to go. But they are going to be behind, and they're going to have to try to take some aggressive action to get themselves back into this thing.
Let's have a look down at the rear of your field, because this is going to be an important battle here. Points mean everything. Doug Pickering versus Mark Waltz right now. P number 15, P number 14 on track. Well, they are separated by just, I say just here, 0.2 of a second, as here comes Waltz down on the inside. He will have the easy line because, of course, Pickering is damaged, and that is what you have when you've got a car on old tyres with damage versus a car on old tyres with no damage there. Adam, easy pass there for Club Northwest. We'll do that on.
Absolutely. You know, Mark had a chance to get on the pit road after his earlier incident, and he's just trying to scrap and get every position that he can. You know, we still have those Northwest guys, though, still running in 12, 13, 15, and 16. So they're still trying to work their strategy and still trying to stay out of trouble at this point. But at this point in the race, you got to start trying to think, hey, I've got to get positions. I have to get points.
Yep. There you just see there that we saw Frank Fliverich moving himself up into P number 10 in the Club Diaz number 50 machine. But there you can see it's like it's car bush all over again. There you can see the number 24 machine there, the double mint car of Sahul Mustak. He runs himself in P number 11, and he scraps it himself up, trying to get himself back into the top 10. So now another DX driver is inside that top 10, but Mustak back down to the inside line, in towards turn 1 and 2, and it looks like that Mustak will get that position, but will he keep it as they come on the exit of turn number 2? No, he won't, not just yet. It's interesting to note as well, the World Cup of iRacing, I always call it, but the Bowl Championship Series here, Adam. We got ourselves separate referees. We do things separate from iRacing in this championship. iRacing will determine the winner, but iRacing don't run the championship.
That's right, you know, and this battle here between Sahil and Frank, I mean, it's, you know, they're really going out. I think we got Jake Forster in the wall again.
Yeah, there you can see there. You can just see it as you're riding on board there. That is Jake Forster, and he was wall widing there. In the number 44 machine. Let's get ourselves another look at that one as he headed himself past start and finish line, and we'll go on board with him. Let's listen to the engine note then, down towards turn 1 and 2. You know what happened there? He started running at what I call a Darlington line. You can't run a Darlington line at Homestead. That car hit the wall.
You really can't.
Yeah.
You know, we talk all the time about that high line being there, but since the institution now, we have those marbles, they're there. They're going to be in just a thin line up at the top, and he just found themselves in that thin line, brushed the wall real gently. I don't know if he hit it hard enough to really, it also, obviously is going to cost him some time on that particular lap, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that wall contact there is going to hurt him too much.
Tony Hacker right now versus Club Diaz. This could be important. Our onboard coverage here today brought to you for the iRacing Forum app for Android. As though we can see there, the driver, we hope, going to get past. Will he get past? Will he get past? Will he get past? We don't know that. So Hacker! Hacker getting spun around partially there. And that was on the exit of turn 1 and 2. And well, we need to get ourselves a replay of that one, because that was almost Club DX versus Club Finland, having themselves a major ding-dong on the exit of turn 2. Let's have ourselves a look then to see what happened. This was P8, P9 on track, and this is a valuable, vital, pivotal role of this event. If these two were to have clashed, and well, exit of the corner. Does Diaz come down into Finland? Does Diaz came down into Finland? I'm going to say that one.
Yeah, it looks like at this point, and that's that right there is the type of thing though that can completely change the complexion of this race as we start getting closer to the end. I mean, we are within 10 laps now of this race being completed. One thing to note: Rob Reed really starting to try to reel Stefan in, and he's now down within about 1200s here, and back from about 2700s just a couple laps ago.
And lap traffic is ahead there. Rob Reed is going to get himself a run because Stefan Lopez was so loose on the exit of turn 1 and 2. Down to the inside. Looks Rob Reed. No, not just yet. But Diaz, will they falter in the last 10 laps? Rob Reed down to the inside. Reed for UK Ireland versus Diaz. Down and towards turn 1. We go on board with Rob Reed.
Oh, he's almost lost a little bit of grip there in 1 and 2. He's really fighting hard, though. He might get him here off the exit of the corner. Stefan's really trying to fight back. He might try to drop in line here, get a little bit of the draft. Not quite clear enough just yet. But this battle, I think this is going to go on into 3 and 4 because Rob would constantly reel him in, pull him back, reel him in, pull him back. This one might go down to the wire.
Rob Reed now leads this motor race from Stefan Lopez. So it's UK and Ireland ahead of Diaz by 0.1 of a second. Alexia Loma is nowhere to be seen. He is down in P number 3, 1.8 seconds behind your race leader. But Rob Reed has gained a 10th this lap. There is a crab walking driver ahead of the field right now. We'll figure out who it is and whether they will factor into this race at all. It is to try. Marco Penttinen is too far ahead of your leaders to be a major factor. Chad Barker will be a factor also. There is Jukka Sovalainen and there is Rob Reed. It's Jukka Sovalainen who is going to potentially be the issue. We're on board with Rob Reed. 85 out of 90 laps scored completely stand by. Rob Reed is just thinking, please, 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 get out of my way. But Adam, there's no such thing as a blue flag rule on an oval.
There isn't. An important thing to remember right now is we have Alexi sitting in third. So if Sovalainen can hold him up just a little bit, we might see Alexi try to get his fingernails into this battle and make it a three-way fight for the lead, but he is still 2 seconds back. He does have a lot of ground to make up, and it looks like Rob is going to be able to get around.
5 laps to go. Rob Reed moving himself past there. You can see he's moved himself ahead as well. That's an important buffer now, Adam, for Rob Reed. Yes, the DH card's going to come through. That's 0.4 of a second. That is 1 lap worth of gaining. Rob Reed, this could be UK Ireland's biggest ever win in sim racing. Caution! Caution! This race is over! This race is over!
Mark Walls.
Oh! Mark Walls there for Club Northwest. This race is over. By my calculations, this race is over. Mark Walls, Club Northwest, into the wall. Replay coming up on your screen in a moment's time. And oh my word. We're talking about this being the biggest win for Club UK Ireland. This has just been solidified, potentially. Let's have a look. Mark Walls, back straight away, hard into the wall. I want to figure out why that happened for the Club Northwest driver. Let's ride on board.
Mark got a little bit loose there coming out of the corner. Older tires. He tried to slide up in front of Mark Melcher and did that little hospital wiggle, what we sometimes call it. And Mark had nowhere to go and ended up being the caution that will end this race.
And I'll tell you one thing. He'd rather wreck his own car than hit the Club DH driver. That is good. I say good driving in some ways. That is respectful driving there from Mark Waltz there, the number 18 Northwest car. Rather ruin his own race than risk the race of another driver. They can see number 18 car spinning it around, tagging it into the wall. Mark Waltz out of this event. And
well, the crazy end of this race. I mean, and Rob was starting to pull just a little bit away there. He had the buffer between him and Stefan, and that was I really think that Rob, had it gone green, I really think he would have had it. But still, fantastic race. So you can't say enough about these guys. Ridiculously fast on this track.
This is a time that I have to be objective as a commentator, because you got yourselves 3 Club UK and Ireland drivers inside your top 8. You got 3 Club Finland drivers inside your top 8. Diach here today are your biggest losers on the oval side. We head ourselves into the road course in 45 minutes time is when that race is scheduled to go green. UK and Ireland versus Finland is what I see from now on being a 2-horse race, unless Diach completely win out in split number 2 of the first World Cup final on the oval, and Diach will then win out on both splits in the road course. I tell you one thing, Adam, I have not commentated on a closer World Cup final than this. I've been doing this since 2012. This is the best World Cup of iRacing I have ever seen.
In the couple of years that I've been driving in it, of course, last year we were in the final. This is just worlds beyond. It was a very tight race. We saw lots of battles up front. We saw lots of battles in the middle part of the pack. Lots of battles toward the end. Very close, but you got to hand it to the UK and Ireland guys. They survived. And when it came down to the end of the day, we really saw the impact, I think, of the first 2 cautions of this race and what those ramifications throughout the entire day. And now UK and Ireland's going to go into Suzuka, depending on what happens in the other split, with that advantage. They don't have to win Suzuka. All they have to do is hold the lead, and they can be world champions.
Well, here we can see one more lap to go. The white and the yellow will come out at the same time. As well, I said this could well be the biggest win of Club UK and Ireland's history. And I will say that objectively, because Club UK and Ireland have never won an Iron Company 2500. Club UK and Ireland have never won an Indianapolis 500. They've never won an endurance race here on iRacing that's been officially sanctioned. Yes, they have won a World Championship Grand Prix Series race, but the World Cup of iRacing always means so much more. Especially when you're going up against Club Diach and Club Finland, the 2 clubs to have won and dominated this prestigious championship over the last 6 years. There's just 2 more corners now to go for the driver of the number 22 machine of Rob Reed. He's actually here on RaceSpotTV. We are going to listen to him in just one moment's time as he crosses the line. He'll be joined by his club captain, Matt Dalton, here officially live on RaceSpotTV. Here is the emotion, live and raw, as Rob Reed will win for Club UK and Ireland here in the first of the World Cup of iRacing finals.
You're going to make me do gay donuts?
Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. You see Rob Reed, officially the first winner of the day. Rob, congratulations.
No, I don't want to. Let Matt do it.
Rob Reed doesn't want to do donuts. He wants to make Dalton do his donuts for the looks of it.
Do some donuts.
We're joined by Matt Dalton. We're joined by
Team
Rachel
orders.
Whiteford here from Club UK and Ireland as well. Rachel Whiteford doing spotting for Club UK and Ireland. Matt Dalton is, of course, club captain. And Rob Reed, well, he is your winner. Rob, you're inside your car. This is pure NASCAR. Talk me through the emotions right now on the number 22 BSR Club UK and Ireland machine.
I'm just really pleased for the club, really. I worked massively hard on getting a good setup for this. And yeah, it just came good in the end.
Well, you got yourself the victory, as we've been talking about the fact it's been Club UK and Ireland versus Finland versus Diach. As you slow yourself down, put it out of the event, so no donuts for you here today. But now we go to the road course. Are you going to be running the road course?
I am, I think, yeah. So I need to go and do some practice for that.
Club UK and Ireland, they've got the early advantage. What do you do now to get UK and Ireland their first ever World Cup victory?
I hope so, yeah, that's the plan.
Rob, we'll leave you to it. We'll talk to Matt Dalton in a moment's time, Rachel Whiteford as well. We're going to take ourselves a moment to run through your race results here on RaceSpotTV. What a crazy first round it's been here from the club, from the club's championship, the World Cup of iRacing. Here's your result.
I should have done better.
There we can see we've got ourselves Rob Reed winning, Stefan Norbis second, Alexia Loma third, Ira Sparrow in fourth. That is UK Ireland versus Diach versus Finland versus UK Ireland. Then Finland, Josepala. Then Chris Seymour for Canada. Then Tommy Hacker. Then Jake Forrester, Frank Sukovic, and Soho Mustak. They are your top 10. Then we head ourselves back. It's Northwest in P11 and 12. Then Diach, UK Ireland, Northwest, Diach, Northwest. Finland, Canada, and Northwest. These points matter. These points will determine who wins the 2015 World Cup of iRacing. This is huge. This is important. And there you can see the rest of your field. As far as we're concerned, Canada are, in my opinion, out. Diach with Westler and Kosh, they're going to struggle. Dalton is the big thorn in UK Ireland side, and P number 24. Penttinen and Savolainen, they do not want to be outside of your top 20. We will step aside. We will be back with interviews and more as we get ready for the roadside. That will determine everything. This is the 2015 World Cup of iRacing Finals, as we will be back in a few moments' time.
Hey guys, I'm Jack, and welcome to This Week on iRacing, a brand new series that covers this week's race schedules, live events, and iRacing news. Starting off the lineup with rookies, we have the Mazda Cup at Summit Point, and the Street Stock cars return to Charlotte. The Skip Barber car also hit Summit Point in the short configuration, while the Spec Racer Ford is at Interlagos. The NASCAR iRacing series this week is at Phoenix International Raceway, while the IndyCar Oval Racing Series is at Auto Club Speedway, and the IndyCar Winter Series is at Road America. In the world of open wheel, one of our new series, the Dallara Dash, is also at Phoenix, but as the 2008 version of the track. The Lotus 49 is at Silverstone, and the Lotus 79 is at Phillip Island. And last but not least, the Star Mazda is at Watkins Glen. The IMSA Sports Car Challenge Series, featuring one of our newest releases, the Corvette Daytona Prototype, hits the road course at Daytona, while the Blancpain Sprint Series is at Bathurst, and the Blancpain Endurance Series is at Zolder. In the world of short track, the SK Modified races at Stafford Motor Speedway, while the late model races at Bristol. Both the Super Late Model and Tour Modified cars are racing at New Hampshire. Finally, both V8 Supercars and the GT1 World Championship races at Interlagos. The Mazda Road to 24 shootout, featuring iRacers Glenn McGee and Richard Eklund, takes place today at Carolina Motorsports Park. The shootout is an annual competition to test selected up-and-coming racers on and off the track, with the ultimate prize of a $100,000 scholarship towards racing in the 2016 Battery Tender MX-5 Cup. Richard and Glenn were selected from the top 10 drivers of the iRacing Mazda Cup back in Season 3. Help root for them on social media with the hashtag MRT24. Stay tuned next week for a video recap of the event. Aside from the weekly scheduled broadcasts on iRacing.com/live, the Neo Endurance Series, widely regarded as the premier endurance racing league, hits Circuit of the Americas in round 2 of the series in a 6-hour endurance event on Sunday. This follows the Gathering of Tweakers Endurance Series at COTA in a 3-hour endurance event. A quick shout out to the NASCAR Pro and Road Pro Series, now in full swing, with a new round every week. Round 2 of the NASCAR Pro Series hits Phoenix on Tuesday, while Round 2 of the Road Pro Series hits Montreal on Saturday. Check out our full schedule on iRacing.com/live. That's all for this week. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you on the track.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that Sunday nights are Skippy nights here on RaceSpotTV as we bring you some of the world's best open world racing every Sunday night here on the world's greatest sim racing broadcaster. That is RaceSpotTV, also streaming live on iRacing Live. And what a first round of this World Cup of iRacing finals it has been. We'll be joined by Matt Dalton for Club UK in a couple of moments time. We'll be joined also by Alexia Loma. Rachel Wyford will be here. We've got many more people to talk to as well. We'll talk to Joni Backman for Club Finland as we get ourselves ready for the second of our events here today. But first, Matthew Dalton, congratulations. And I said that this is possibly Club UK Ireland's biggest ever victory. Care to disagree?
No, I can't. I think that's about right. I think that's a massive win for us. For Rob, did an amazing job. So, yeah, that's a pretty big start. It hasn't gone so well in Split 2, which is a bit of a shame. But, you know, everybody's done their best. And, yeah, it's good. Really good result. And not just Rob, but Aaron got a good, solid result with 4th as well, I think. So, Jake, Sahil, everybody in the top 10. Doug did his best that he could. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty solid. Won't say too much about lap 1 because, you know, that's just one of those things. It happens and I had nowhere to go, so I was dead, but...
Talk us through your race. What happened in your race? Because we saw you out in the very early going, trying to get positions later on. As a club captain, it's always emotional when you're involved and you can't affect what you're doing after what I know has been 18 months of pure organisation for that club.
Yeah, it's mixed emotions on it, to be honest, mate. I'm gutted because I know from practice that me, Rob, Aaron and Jake were all really similar pace. We could have had a really strong, solid finish, and clearly the setup was right on pace. But we just went into turn 1 and it was a couple of guys got together a little bit, just got a little bit sideways, and the problem is in that situation you have nowhere to go, and I was guesswork. So from there, all I could do was just run around, make up numbers, and try and pick people off as and when they went out.
Your strategy for the road course, of course, 2 splits. Is it a case of do what you did in the first split, or are you going to change your strategy knowing that split 1 was good, split 2 not so good?
No, strategy is still exactly the same as it's been for weeks going into this. Just attack, and that's it. There's no point us doing anything to try and second guess what other people are going to do or anything like that. We're just going full chat at it and see what happens. And the road guys have been working as hard as us. I know they're as ready as they can be. You know, it's all over to them now, and I don't know what the points are. We'll have to have a look at that, but hopefully we're in a good shout, and if we are, yeah, if we're in a good position, then it's over to the road guys. And, you know, again, I know their pace is good. We just have to do what we can, and fingers crossed. And I'm going to be on the whiskey very shortly, and I suspect shaking like a leaf by the end of it. So
I'll tell you one thing. I think that you'll agree with me. This is the closest, most nail-biting World Cup of iRacing final that I've ever seen, because 50 points, in my opinion, separates the top 2 clubs. Diat, in my opinion, might be out of it. Or if they're not out of it, they are an outsider. It's currently going to be UK Line versus Finland going into that final race at Suzuka. And it's a track that Finland pits, but I've never seen them being that good at, ironically.
Look, if Diach are not in the points, they're going to have a massive say in it in the strategy, because there's no way Cronky and those guys are not going to be extremely quick. There is absolutely no chance whatsoever that they're going to have no input into it in some shape or form. Finland, you know, look, there's no point second guessing with them either, because you know they're going to be quick, you know they're going to be right at the front. All we can do is get our guys as high up as we can and run what we can. The guys know how to run races. You know, there's nothing I can say about a road race strategy to the likes of Sebastian Job or Alex Simpson. There's nothing I can say to them. So all we could do was control what we were doing on the oval. We bust our backsides for months on that, getting everything right, getting the setup right. We worked hard all year running the B car, ready to try and get things ready for this, and it paid off as best we can. You know, it's open, it's wide. I will say one thing. I do want to say one thing. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that ran in that top split, because for the last 3-4 years, every Oval World Cup final has been a bit of a joke with loads of cautions, loads of nightmares and all sorts like that. Everybody in that top split did their bit to make that a really good race. That was about the racing, not about pit stop strategy.
I agree. I completely agree. So, kind words there by Matt Dalton. I will echo to everyone. That is Club Finland, Club DH, Club UK and Ireland, Club Northwest, and Club Canada. Well done. Because you guys actually did deliver an event worth watching for the club, for the World Cup of iRacing. We're getting word in that Split 2, Adam, has been a bit more of what we like to call finish domination. It's going to be really interesting now in terms of the points, because in my opinion, it's still going to be, by my recollection there, Club Finland versus Club UK and Ireland, DH even more out of it by those results. But Club UK and Ireland need a miracle, or they need Club DH to help them take points away from Club Finland to help them win the World Cup.
Well, it's going to be tough and it's going to be interesting. Of course, we got to wait for the final point results to come in here from the combination between Split 1 and Split 2. But the highest finishing UK and Ireland driver in Split 2 was 13th place. Wow. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out. You know, I would say, just eyeballing things, we're going to be pretty close at the top of this thing.
There's going to be some stuff to play out afterwards as well. Obviously, with these things, there always is. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all pans out. But we'll certainly see how it goes.
Yep, we're going to get a word in a moment's time. Hopefully with Joni Backman there. He's the club captain for Club Finland. We've got Alexi Aloma here. Alexi, so good to see you here at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, it's great to see you too.
Well, your race, let's have a look. You got a P3 in the end, but it was not an easy P3. It was a very hard P3.
Yeah, it's kind of tough with this new tire model. It's before it's been easy pretty much on the long stints, so car didn't change much. But this time we actually got the maximum stint length we can imagine here. So it was really tough to drive in the end, and it was so different to drive because some people, one Canada guy who almost passed Jere in the end, he came so fast in the end, and everyone else were sleeping. I don't know, it's tough.
Well, you go now from the road course over to the oval. So from the oval to the road course there, we go to Suzuka in a moment's time. Now Suzuka is an interesting track because it's always slippery, it's always fast, but the marbles and the track placement in qualifying are going to be key. If Club Finland can get pole position and maybe the top 3 drivers inside the top 6, do you think the World Cup is yours to lose?
Yeah, well, I don't know. We don't have really the best team we could get in the finals on the roadside, so yeah, it's gonna be tough for us because I don't know how well other teams have been able to get their fastest drivers. So yeah, I don't know. But we got pretty good result now because the second split cars were so good.
You know what, Adam, when Alexi says that, I'm now expecting to see Ricky Veratalo, the likes of Klaus Kivikas, the likes of Gregor Hutu, the likes of Ilka Hapala, and Alexi Aloma all show up and say, yeah, we decided that we're actually going to have ourselves a team.
Yeah, I could just imagine now Hutu coming out from behind the grandstands or something like that with some grand music playing and something like that just to kind of come in. But Aleski, I've got to ask you, you're running there third right at the end of the race. The longest stint I think that we've seen between all the groups and everything. I mean, we were running there, I think, 45, 46 laps at the end of the race. Pace was running at about 2.5 seconds off what it was at the start of that restart. You mentioned the car was handling pretty roughly at that point, but can you describe? I mean, what turn 4 was that particularly hard? What was probably the hardest part of the track for you at that point?
I don't know. It was like the car, like 15 laps before the stint ended. It was like a little understeery everywhere, and then it transitioned to very loose on the exits. And turn 3, turn 4 is really tough here. For some reason, it's kind of like sometimes tires almost smoke, and actually smoke there. So yeah, turn 4, when it gets loose, it's tough.
I'm going to interrupt here because we've got provisional points here. Club Finland 569 points, Club DH 414, Club UK and Ireland 384, Club Northwest 382, Club Canada we haven't got. But well, that's an interesting one there, Adam, because we expect Club UK and Ireland to be right up there with Club Finland, but evidently the fact that they struggled so hard in split number 2 shows how much a good performance in split number 1 has just been completely evaporated.
Absolutely, split 2 really did it right there, and you're still setting the stage for what I think could be an exciting run at Suzuka. Anything's still on the table, and don't forget, we still have a split 2 over there as well. That could very well make things interesting and kind of throw some gas on the fire.
So we're joined at this time by Joni Backman, club principal for Club Finland. Joni, we said it was going to be close. I'm presuming that you're a little bit happy right now.
Actually, I'm shocked right now. I was looking at the top split race and looking at the second split race. In my head, I tried to do some initial calculations, and I actually had UK and Ireland being way closer, and I actually counted that it would have been UK and Finland top 2, but by not much.
Same as we had it.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking to see. I don't know. I didn't have a chance to see exactly where UK and I finished in the second split, but yeah, it really surprised me.
What it shows more than anything else is consistency. As we're going to hand it over, is that Matt who was just talking there?
Yeah, I was gonna. There's a bit of. I'm trying to get an idea of what's happening from our guys, but there's a couple of them are not overly amused. They're a bit upset at a couple of moves, and apparently a lot of them got hit out in one big wreck in split 2 that took out about 15 cars. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of that now.
Yeah, I just had a look at the score sheet, and there was a huge amount of DNFs. I joined it last 20 laps, so I have no idea what happened.
Of course, we're not going to say this as it being any particular club. If we've not seen the incident, we'll not comment on the incident. But it is worth noting, of course, that there are stewards that will be looking into any incident that takes place during the World Cup of iRacing. But Joni, does your game plan change now compared to 2 hours ago, knowing the fact that you have got a substantive lead over DH rather than Club UK and Ireland, as you may have thought?
Not much. Of course it's good to be in 100 something, 140 points in the lead, but I still think that the main priority should be to just bring all the cars to the finish line. I mean, DNFing 2 cars, it's basically a disaster immediately, and that pretty much goes to any club out there in the splits, and especially in the top split. So I don't think that changes the game plan that much, but I think that being and I'm not saying comfortably in the lead, but being in the lead in the first place, I think just gives a little bit of extra relaxing. You don't have to squeeze the wheel as much as you would do if you would be in DH's position right now. I mean, you have to chase for 150 extra points, which is it always gives you an extra bit of pressure. So I think that's the only thing that. I mean, it doesn't change the plan that much, but I think that's the only difference that's going to be compared to 2 hours ago.
Well, it's going to be a close battle, of course, at Suzuka, and of course that'll be in both split 1 and split 2. Do you think UK and Ireland are the teams to beat, or is it DH now after you had a look at the first round of results? Because of course, DH, yes, they are favourably statistics right now, but UK and Ireland, they have had arguably the biggest jump in performance over the last 12 months.
I would still say it's a 3-club race. That I mean, clearly a 3-club race. I mean, I'm not counting anyone out at this point.
Well, anything can happen. We're going to go back to Matt Dalton. Matt, seems as though like your club are just a little bit upset as it stands right now. Matt's so upset he's refusing
It hurts
to talk
to be
to
that
me.
far behind. I can't lie.
Well,
No, I am here. Sorry, it's my thing's not working quite right. Yeah, we're a little bit upset to be that far behind after the first round, but there's a couple of things that the guys are asking me to look into that I need to talk to Mike about. There's a couple of people who are not very happy. I just got to see exactly what's going on with that. I don't want to say too much until we know.
okay, we'll leave it to you to then go and talk to the race stewards at this time. And of course, Adam, one of the good things, we talked about this being a bit like the Bowl Championship Series in college football. Yes, it's sanctioned by iRacing. It's not run by iRacing. iRacing will determine the national champion or the international champion, but they do not determine the process. That is determined by Mike Olette, Katie Scott, and the incredible group of guys over from the World Cup of iRacing.com committee, who have, for the last 3 years, made this an event that is a must-watch-see event.
It is. It's the pinnacle team event on iRacing, and you can't say enough about Mike and the guys. You know, and I've even told Mike in an email I think the other day that you know, every change that they've made to the World Cup, for better or for worse, was always done with the best of intentions. And in the process, I think that even though they've tried some things that maybe didn't work in the past, they've done things that have worked really well, have a better event because of it, because they're not afraid to try new things. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what we end up is a champion, and that's what we want. That's what we get. We have a playoff system to determine it. And just from a driver's standpoint, even though my dear friends at Club Texas, we weren't able to make it, it's a lot of fun, and it's a pleasure every year to be involved in something like this, from the camaraderie in the clubs, working with other clubs, internally, externally. It's a lot of fun, and I'm glad to be a part of it here on RaceSpot for this broadcast, and appreciate you, Will, for letting me be here as well.
Ah, you're welcome. Who do you think is going to win it, though? Because we thought that it was Club UK and Ireland that would be very close to Club Finland. That gap is very large. And actually, it's now a case of, could actually Club DH still steal one in the late stage of this event?
They could. I mean, and I think right now, you almost, I hate to say it like it, but we can almost factor out. And I love my Northwest guys too. We run with them in the pack majors. I can't say enough nice things about them. But unless something drastic happens in the roadside, I don't think that they're strong enough on the roadside to be able to get up there, to be able to try to make some miracle happen as far as championship. But where Northwest and Canada are going to play a role is stealing positions from those other guys. And if that happens, I really think that any of Finland, DH, and UK, everything is still up in the air, because once again, we have split 1 and we have split 2, and it's going to be very interesting to see.
If you want me to make your day even worse, Texas did lose to West Virginia as well by 18 points.
Oh, the Longhorns can lose all day long. That's good. I want them to be weak, because my Texas Tech Red Raiders plays them Thanksgiving in Austin.
Oh, okay. So we're going for Texas Tech right now. Okay.
That's right. That's
okay,
right. And we're up big on Kansas State right now.
21-point game, isn't it? In the second quarter there. And I mean, that's a 21-point game. We're barely into the second quarter.
Absolutely. You know, finally, we're starting to show our offense. And I'll be completely honest with you. If I wasn't here with you guys right now, I'd be at that game. I actually had to send my wife with our season tickets with a friend.
I'll tell you what, Texas Tech, they've got one of the most colorful head coaches in all of college football right now. They have been very strong this year. They've caused almost 2 upsets in 2 weeks. Texas Tech are a team worth watching. You know what? You don't care about A&M because they lost to Auburn. They lost to the Auburn Tigers that lost to Georgia. So that's how much that Texas A&M are worth right now. And Texas Longhorns, well, yes, they've got their own TV network, but hey. We're going to step aside for just a couple of moments. We'll be back with more after this. You are watching RaceSpotTV, the world's greatest sim racing broadcaster. We'll be back in a couple of moments. Time after this.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Hey guys, I'm Jack, and welcome to This Week on iRacing, a brand new series that covers this week's race schedules, live events, and iRacing news. Starting off the lineup with rookies, we have the Mazda Cup at Summit Point, and the Street Stock cars return to Charlotte. The Skip Barber car also hit Summit Point in the short configuration, while the Spec Racer Ford is at Interlagos. The NASCAR iRacing Series this week is at Phoenix International Raceway, while the IndyCar Oval Racing Series is at Auto Club Speedway, and the IndyCar Winter Series is at Road America. In the world of open wheel, one of our new series, the Dallara Dash, is also at Phoenix, but as the 2008 version of the track. The Lotus 49 is at Silverstone, and the Lotus 79 is at Phillip Island. And last but not least, the Star Mazda is at Watkins Glen. The IMSA Sports Car Challenge Series, featuring one of our newest releases, the Corvette Daytona Prototype, hits the road course at Daytona, while the Blancpain Sprint Series is at Bathurst, and the Blancpain Endurance Series is at Zolder. In the world of short track, the SK Modified races at Stafford Motor Speedway, while the late model races at Bristol. Both the Super Late Model and Tour Modified cars are racing at New Hampshire. Finally, both V8 Supercars and the GT1 World Championship races at Interlagos. The Mazda Road to 24 shootout, featuring iRacers Glenn McGee and Richard Eklund, takes place today at Carolina Motorsports Park. The shootout is an annual competition to test selected up-and-coming racers on and off the track, with the ultimate prize of a $100,000 scholarship towards racing in the 2016 Battery Tender MX-5 Cup. Richard and Glenn were selected from the top 10 drivers of the iRacing Mazda Cup back in Season 3. Help root for them on social media with the hashtag MRT24. Stay tuned next week for a video recap of the event. Aside from the weekly scheduled broadcasts on iRacing.com/live, the Neo Endurance Series, widely regarded as the premier endurance racing league, hits Circuit of the Americas in round 2 of the series in a 6-hour endurance event on Sunday. This follows the Gathering of Tweakers Endurance Series at COTA in a 3-hour endurance event. A quick shout out to the NASCAR Pro and Road Pro Series, now in full swing, with a new round every week. Round 2 of the NASCAR Pro Series hits Phoenix on Tuesday, while Round 2 of the Road Pro Series hits Montreal on Saturday. Check out our full schedule on iRacing.com/live. That's all for this week. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you on the track.
Welcome back to RaceSpotTV, ladies and gentlemen. We're about 5 minutes away from getting ourselves ready to go road course racing in the 2015 World Cup of iRacing Finals. Points are currently under review, so we'll talk about those in a moment's time. But Adam, in the break, we were talking about college football. And yeah, Texas Tech guys are still winning, but still some big games going on in college football this November Saturday.
Yeah, things are coming down to the wire. I think we were just talking about our picks for what the College Bowl championship series there is going to be like, and I think we were pretty much in agreement on that for the most part. But if it wasn't for here, I'd be at a game or watching games on TV, and it's kind of hard to keep track of everything because, man, there's a lot of good games going on today. I saw that Illinois ended up not being a trouble at all for Ohio State,
Oh, no.
which I guess not really surprising.
And the thing is, a team like that needs to have a big win like that. Of course, they lost JT Barrett a week ago, so they had to have Cardale Jones. JT Barrett is back this week. And a team like that, a team in turmoil, is always one that the College Football Committee will look at in detail. But the only thing that you and I disagree on is whether it's going to be OSU or Notre Dame being that number 4 seed.
Absolutely, and I think that Notre Dame is going to be the higher seed because I just think they're the better football team, and I think that that the committee is going to see that going toward the end of the season. But hey, Will, racing points updated him. New points are official.
Oh,
you
wow.
ready for them?
Yeah.
Finland 569, UK and Ireland 474. DH 414, Northwest 382, Canada 343. So UK and Ireland a lot closer to that top spot.
Mm-hmm. And that means, of course, UK and Ireland. Now, your strategy will change immediately for that one, because we're talking about UK and Ireland at one point being in do or die mode, but now they're not in do or die mode. They're in a case of doing exactly what they've done previously.
They've just got to worry about finishing, and if they can finish, and they still need a little bit of luck on their side. They still have to have Finland run into some sort of trouble in this race, but they have the possibility of trying to do some damage. And I know you guys have some really good road racers on your side. Don't forget, though, DH has some really good road racers too. And this thing is still wide open. It's going to be tough to overcome Finland, but it's still wide open.
Well, Finland or DH or UK and Ireland are realistically in that situation right now, because you got yourselves, well, Northwest 382 points. We would say at this stage of the game, 200 points back, they are out of it. Club Canada, the same. They are 220 points back. They are likely out of it. 3-horse battle. Who do you pick?
Well, I really think at this point in the game, don't hate me, Will, but I think Finland is going to be able to control this thing. They're going to be in a position to where they don't have to take any kind of chances in order to come away with the title. UK and Ireland, DH, they're going to have to be aggressive. They're going to have to aggressively take spots, and they are going to have to avoid Northwest and Canada taking any spots from them.
Of course, I don't care, because I'm the most neutral person here on iRacing. Rachel Whitehead is here, and Rachel, you will know that I am, in terms of UK and Ireland, I don't care if UK and Ireland win or lose.
You don't at all? Well, in fact, you're probably more American than you are British, so that's always a major factor. But yeah, the revised points make things very different, and it certainly makes a very close fight for second. DH and UK and I have always fought for those two spots. Finland, I think Adam's right. We always tend to be running second or third fiddle to them. They are possibly one of the most diverse clubs, and one of the smallest as well. Only 5 million Finns, of course, in Finland. And you compare that to some of the groups and clubs in iRacing, the pool of people they can pull from. They're a very small club, but they're very strong, and their strength comes from working together. That's something the UK and I have been doing recently as well, and DH do also very well. I think that's why those three clubs are always the big three. They have that strength in not just depth, but in experience and also community. That's something that iRacing, their clubs really always come up with, is they are incredibly strong communities within the iRacing service on their club forums and TeamSpeak or Mumble servers. They're always together working, so it's a major advantage you just don't see with clubs like Northwest or with Canada or the other clubs. Maybe some of them, but a big advantage when you're working together, sharing setups, working as a club to win. Probably one of the downfalls of the American clubs is most of them use their setups for regular iRacing events, league events, and they don't want to share a good car with people they might compete against next week. So it's perhaps strength that the clubs like Finland, UK and I, and DH can put that aside, go and try and beat somebody else as a group.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I really think, and Rachel hit the nail on the head about how they work together and are able to be diverse. And the other clubs, we're starting to model things over how Finland, DH, and UK really start to operate. I mean, we're in TeamSpeak all the time. We're trying to work together. I think one of the main drawbacks is the diversity amongst who we have helping, though. And we're gaining ground, but we're not gaining ground, I think, as fast as what we'd like to on these guys. And one thing to point out, though, I don't know exactly where I saw it, but I remember seeing Finland only has 700 people on iRacing, and I think that actually makes them one of the smaller clubs all around. And to be able to pull all those guys together the way they do is pretty phenomenal.
It is indeed, and of course, many people forget that I know the Club Finland team very, very well. So we're going to step aside. We're going to come back. We're going to go road racing. We'll be at Suzuka for the second part of the 2015 World Cup of iRacing. We've learned so far anything can happen. Well, when it seems we go to Suzuka, make that the same times 10. We'll be back soon.
What a move. Truex on the outside, contact made. 56 slides in at a 4. Who's going to be into the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Well, with one round in the books, it is Club Finland who lead by about 100 points over Club UK Ireland, then Club DH, then we've got ourselves Northwest and Canada. 5 clubs, one more race to go to determine who will be the 2015 World Cup of iRacing.com champions. Finland and DH are the only 2 clubs to have held this prestigious honour so far, but today it looks like it's going to be Finland versus UK Ireland for the victory. One of those 2 clubs will likely be in victory lane celebrating like there's no tomorrow, but to get there they have got to push through qualifying, through the race, and figure it out so that they are at the top of their game as we welcome you back then. 12 minutes remaining in qualifying for this, the second round of the day. Will Vincent, Rachel Whiteford, Adam Young are here. Adam, now we go to Suzuka. Suzuka is not a track that one takes lightly because it's a track that will eat you up and spit you out.
It really will. It's tight, it's slick, and there's not a whole lot of places to pass. There's plenty of places too where you can lose a whole lot of time with only the smallest mistake. And I think you're really going to see the cream rise to the top here, and you're also going to be in a situation where you're going to have people that have to take chances, and it's going to make for an exciting race.
And Rachel, we know Suzuka from the Iceland.com World Championship Grand Prix Series, the Pro Series of Road Racing, Sunday Night Skippies, Monday Night Skippies, the Gallagher Tweakers Endurance Series. We've also got ourselves the Neo Endurance Series. Everything else we can talk about, we know this track. But this track is hard.
It really is a difficult track. It's, of course, one of the few figure-8 tracks in the world, and it's a tough place to race. The weather is certainly interesting for this one, of course, and going to make things really exciting. Right now, the wind, 35 miles an hour from the southeast. Humidity is pretty average, but a little bit on the cooler side, 71 degrees, so to make things a bit different. Of course, we've had different weather for each of the races so far in the qualifying tournament and final stage. Been 3 different setups from these teams, and it makes a big difference in that. Currently Avery actually topping times in practice. Billy at 7, Sebastian Job in 3rd, Borcher 2nd, Simpson in 4th, so strong early running by 3 of the UK9 cars. We've got a German up there, 2 Germans. We've got some Finns further down. Rico Alatello might have actually turned a lap of practice for this one, Will, because in the World Championship Series he's not usually a man to practice, but always someone to watch out for. It's going to be a really exciting race.
And the important thing, Rachel, for Club UK Ireland is they need to make sure that for the first time in a while, Germany helps them in terms of getting bodies between them and Club Finland to help with the points, not only in qualifying, but come race time as well.
Very much, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens here. Of course, this is a downforce car, so it races very differently to the roof C-Spec we had last year for the finals. That really means that it's going to be a very different style of racing. We've seen some slipperiness on the track. These cars quite low, so don't have the downforce that you get from the Formula 1 cars, of course. And that makes things very interesting, very difficult, of course. We do know that the Finns are usually very fast in open wheelers. Of course, less downforce could be different, could see some variety coming through from those guys who are usually driving the lower powered cars, things like Skip Barber, like the Star Master. So we could see exciting things happening. But very much a problem of turn 1 and 2 here on the start. And of course going through the S's, Spoon Curve, and up towards 130R. We've seen some very exciting incidents in 130R in the run-up rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, Tuesday night, it is Tuesday Madness on iRacing.com Live, as you get to choose between IndyCar or NASCAR. In terms of NASCAR, it is the NASCAR Pro Series, brought to you by LSR TV. On the IndyCar side of things, it is the 16th Street Racing League, brought to you by Verizon, by Racer.com, by IndyCar.com, brought to you live on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. So be it NASCAR on iRacing Live or be it IndyCar on iRacing Live, we are your home for Tuesday Madness every Tuesday night until Christmas on RaceSpotTV, on iRacing Live, and on LSR TV. And I'll tell you what, Adam, someone's got to like some form of this racing. Either IndyCar or NASCAR, you're going to like at least one of them, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's, I don't know. It's this is gonna be a fun one to watch, but I'm still gonna put my money on Finland. I think here as we go into the final. I think that it's gonna be too much to overcome.
Well, there we can see it is currently Avery from Borcher from Job. They are your top 3. They can see qualifying times on the left-hand side of your screen. 7 minutes, 32 seconds remaining. So Avery from Borcher from Job from Simpson from Cranky from Pakada from Adatala from Holton from Kosh from Hacker. I tell you what, Rachel, that looks like a World Championship field right there.
Not sure if I'm watching the WCS, Will, or watching the World Cup final, because all these names we are so used to seeing in that. And It's great these teams could bring out their big guns for this one, and of course, Finland, DH, UK, and I don't really have any pros in the NASCAR side of things, so really nothing we can pull out of that one. We have our own kind of pros, or people going that direction. All three clubs do. Of course, Northwest and Canada probably have pros. I'm not specifically certain, but yeah, this does look like a World Championship Grand Prix Series grid. Avery with a stunning time there in qualifying so far. Someone released the Cronky because he's up in second place. Yeah, this is looking like Apex Racing UK, Co-Anderson Racing, Glacier, and Redline. So at the moment.
Sim Sport, Rachel. Sim Sport.
Commander Simsport.
Oh, yeah.
Racer Commander Simsport.
You need it for tomorrow, so therefore we'd rather get it right
Do I?
now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that. But Rico Natale still in P number 7 for Club Finland. There you can see him, number 20 machine. Let's ride on board with him for the rest of this lap then, as he works himself through Spoon Curve, then down that long back straightaway to the run 31. Let's listen to the engine note for Riku Alatalo. Actually, he's not on a hot lap. This is an out lap for Alatalo. Slow, but sure. Let's have a listen to him as he comes down into the chicane, though. This will be fun. You know what I heard there, Rachel? The slightest of blips into turn number 1. He almost hit that flat out.
I think he did, and having done laps running myself in his car, it's pushing it very close to the limit. In the car getting turn 1 practically flat here, you can, but I think the driver requires to have a little more bravery than perhaps I might to do that one. 130R is definitely flat once the tyres have heated up, but lap 1 here will be difficult. This car, cold tyres are really quite messy here on this track, so drivers are going to have to make sure they actually keep an eye on it for that first lap or two, let the tyres come up to pressure, then it gets exciting.
I'll tell you what, Alatalo messed up, but we're going to ride on board right now with Alexander Voss. As Rachel talk us through then the first part of a lap. Should he do it? There, Alexander Voss down there. Nope, he's going to finish the lap. We'll talk about another driver instead. So they can see Alex Backman on pit road. They can see Rob Reed. He's just coming past the start finish line. Let's have a look. Alex Simpson, maybe coming down towards the back end of the racetrack. Talk us through it.
The chicane here, that's one part personally for me where I always tend to lose a lot of time on this track, and really, if you don't hit that, you're not going to have a good run through the front straightaway. Like Rachel was saying, turn 1, a little bit of the blip, and if you do any more or less than that, I really think you're either going to lose a lot of time or you're pushing it too hard. And I think you saw that with Rico a minute ago, is that he pushed it too hard, going through the S's into the top of the S's and started to lose it. But something to note here, Sebastian put down a lap that's 0.2 faster than what Richard did.
So there is a lap then done by Alex Simpson. You can see a look. That's the hairpin down at Suzuka. That's a place that Eddie Irvine back in 1999 struggled so heavily with. A couple of guys on track. We're going to ride ourselves on board with Andre Borcher. He is slow right now. Let's have a look instead then with Richard Avery from UK Island. Rachel, middle part of the racetrack for Avery, heading himself down into that very slow hairpin.
Yeah, the hairpin's a tough one in this car. With the back end grip, it's very much a pointed squirt car wheel, so those guys have to make sure they get turned around fully before they get on that gas, otherwise it can really loop the car.
Yeah, this is probably one of the easier cars to loop on the service just because of that, and you have to almost treat the throttle like you have an egg underneath it.
Let's run ourselves on board then for the rest of this lap, on board with Richard Avery. Well, you can see a lap completed by Richard Avery. He is in P number 2 right now, but it's Sebastian Job. He still leads in qualifying. 1 minute and 37 seconds remaining of this session. It's UK and Ireland leading. UK and Ireland in second. Then in third place, we've got ourselves UK and Ireland. Then we've got ourselves Club Diat in fourth. Club Diat in fifth. Club Finland, their highest placed driver, is currently in P number 6. But you got yourself Rico Alatalo on a lap there. Into the triangle. He will come. Will he be able to improve on P number 7? Alatalo on towards pit road. He won't do it. And Rachel, no more time now for Alatalo. He cannot go any faster in qualifying.
No, he can't, and that's going to be a bit of a shame for him, but we know Rico puts about 5 minutes of practice in, or practices during qualifying, so this is really a pretty good turnout from him in terms of what he normally does, and just shows how powerful a driver he is. Ricardo ahead of him, though, so highest placed Finn there. Diach top 3 is UK and I lockout right now, so that's interesting.
Yeah, we still have Joni on the backstretch here. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to put down a time. Currently sitting in P17 as he goes through the kink. So we're going to watch. He's going through the chicane, see if he can improve his spot any. But judgment by some of these times that are down so far, I don't imagine he's going to be able to improve it very much. But he and almost lost it coming there.
We've seen a couple of the Club Finland drivers do it at that corner, the last corner of the lap. It's so difficult because Rachel is off camber. And Joni Backman and Rico Alatalo made the same mistake there in the dying moments of qualifying. And that might well be a key factor in about 45 minutes' time.
You know, these starts here, too, where everybody's starting at, given the fact that Suzuka has that hard to pass reputation, it's going to be interesting. And I really still think that I'm still going to stay that I still think Finland can get it. But things definitely became a lot more interesting.
Here's your grid. Job from Avery, globally UK and Ireland 1, 2, and 3. Then Cronke in P number 4. P5 is Andre Borgia, Oli Pacala in P6. Alatalo and Nakuri in P7 and P8, and all finish 4th row of the grid. Then Tommy Hacker, Patrick Holtzman, Niels Koch, and Damien Rushworth. They are P number 9 through P number 12. And all Club UK and Ireland, row number 7, Fluke and Reed. And then it's Hurska and Voss for P number 15, 16 for Diach. Backman Tremblay in P number 18, Purica and Kinsella. So 2 Finnish drivers on the inside of row number 8 and 9. Canadian drivers on the outside. There's the rest of your field. Look at it. Northwest are struggling here on the road course, but still plenty of action here to come today on RaceSpotTV. And also streaming live on iRacing Live. And our look there at our aerial coverage here today has been brought to you by And1 Design. They are the official graphics partner of RaceSpotTV, as we're waiting now for these guys to head themselves down to this island grid to get this, the second of 2 events of the World Cup of iRacing, officially underway. Will Club UK and Ireland be able to convert on a strong oval race and take their strong qualifying performance and put themselves in pole position for the championship? Can Finland defend and hold on? In Diach, to the miracle of all miracles, what would happen with Club Canada and also with Club Northwest? Light are going on top of the Ireson.com gantry. Here we go for the final round of the World Cup of iRacing. Diach on the charge. Look at this. 4 wide almost in towards 1. But oh, big trouble. Diach versus UK and Ireland. 2 drivers into the wall. That is Fluke there involved. And Andre Borgia, one of the biggest drivers for Club Diach. One of the biggest drivers for UK and Ireland, out at the start of this event. Adam, it's all gone wrong. 1 UK and Ireland driver, 1 Diach driver out already.
Yeah, we had a second Diach driver involved in the tail end there. Richard Avery looks like he's got some damage after turn 1. Wow, that right there, that certainly helps the Finns. They're going to have to hope that UK and everybody else are going to have to hope that something else happens in the process of this race.
Well, here's a look on board then with Andre Borch. You can see trying to come down too wide, too deep in towards turn number 1. And then, it happened not with Borgia, it happened with his teammate there. but Borcha turned upside down, turn around, and that, well, Rachel, we never want to see big incidents like that, but Richard Avery there, you can see him as well, number 78 car, he's fallen well down the field. We will look at this one more time, but this has been a crazy, crazy start to this event.
It certainly has been, Will. That was a disastrous turn one. It looked almost as though one of the DH cars pushed the UK9 car into turn one, pulls him behind him, shunts him into the corner, takes out the teammate there. That was Kroenke that actually ran into the back of Avery.
Well, yeah, we're trying to get ourselves a look then. We're having a look on board with Richard Avery. Those lights go out. The guys head themselves down in towards turn one. We're going to have a look then from high up above, coming down in towards turn one. Let's get ourselves, well, there we can see a look there at the internet. We're going to get ourselves one more look if we can. And, well, the reason why we're showing you this, ladies and gentlemen, because this is so important in terms of the overall championship. Let's have a look down in towards turn one. We can see Richard Avery. We're going to have a look then to see what happened with him and the DH driver as they come down. And indeed, a club DH driver did bump the driver once.
Another one off, sorry, actually,
and spun him in towards turn number 2.
Off the track.
So, yeah, in towards turn number 2. Rachel, carry on.
Martin Kroenke has gone off in the S's, actually. Could have been damage picked up from the incident there with the car of Richard Avery, but he's gone off in the final corner of the S's, lost the back end, round he goes, inside hard, impact with the inside wall, not quite, but going again, he's lost a lot of spots.
There is Martin Kroenke in P number 13. Go ahead, Adam.
I think that through the course of that turn one, lap one, with all the incidents that we had on track, the only two UK and Ireland drivers that got away without any damage at all are Sebastian and Alex running 1-2.
Yeah, and now it's a case of what happened behind them, because it's now UK and Ireland versus Finland versus Finland versus Finland versus Finland versus DH versus DH versus UK and Ireland versus, I believe, Cup Canada. Well, there you can see confirmation of that one. Finland, they don't need to win this event. If they do that one, then Rachel, at the end of the day, Finland will win this championship. The argument will be potentially between Club DH and Club UK Ireland. In one way, it was a racing incident as Martin Kroenke comes on towards pit road. First lap incident at Suzuka. Well, we've seen it before. 1990, Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. You know, it happens, but at the same time, it's one of these things that I think a lot of guys are battling for a lot of position very quickly. And now this World Cup is upside down once again.
Yeah, we saw it last year, of course, in the World Championship Grand Prix Series where Gregor Houty was killed in the first lap of Suzuka in the S's. So it's nothing unusual really here for the track. It's a very difficult start to the lap, but unnecessary pushing there. I do think the car of Kroenke just pushed in too hard into turn one, drove that car of Avery into the corner, but at the same time, people saying he got loose on the curb. I'm not quite sure myself, but it's a difficult place to call it. A pack start like that, all drivers going very well off the start, so hard to place the blame, but his car's not in great shape, and right now it seems that DH aren't faring as well as they might be in the point standings.
Well, we're going to get ourselves another look on board with Martin Kroenke, because we're going to put this one to bed immediately. We're going to listen on board with Kroenke. Let's slow it down here. Alright, you see, Kroenke didn't get loose himself, but what happened was there was a Constantino effect ahead of him. Let's replay this one again, one more time, as the guys come down in towards turn one. It did look from some angles that Kroenke got loose, but we need to have a look up above. This is where we're going to be able to really see this one. Let's slow it down. From here, you can see right hand side of your screen, Club UK Ireland driver and then Club DH driver. In towards turn one, Club UK Ireland driver slowing down into the corner, Club DH driver behind. Now the Club UK Ireland driver, what happened is, he got loose into the corner because of the fact, and that's the number 78 machine, that's Richard Avery. And then a Club DH driver involved as a consequence of that one. I will say one thing there, Adam. It's lucky for Richard Avery that he did come across the racetrack about a second later than he did, because otherwise he would have actually taken out his own teammate as well.
Yeah, and that would have been a complete disaster, even more than that lap one already was. Multiple incidents around track, and of course the biggest one, car flipping, turn one. It just not a very clean start to the race.
Well, there is a look then at your drivers out front. Sebastian Job leads this motor race right now by 2.1 seconds They can see that the number 30 machine heading himself behind the trees, but there is Sebastian Job, and there is the gap between himself and Alex Simpson. 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds as it stands. Then you got yourself in third place, Riku Alatale for Club Finland. Then P number 4, it is Olli Pekala for Club Finland. Then P number 5 is Jonas Sakurian for Club Finland. Then P number 6 is Tommy Haka for Club Finland. P number 7 is the first DH driver. That is Alexander Voss. And right now, Adam, if you're Club UK and Ireland, you have to push. If you're Club Finland, it's simple. Bring the car home. You might well win yourself another World Cup championship.
It leads right into what we were talking about during the oval race. A lot of it's going to depend on what happens in split 2. But right now, Finland is sitting pretty where they are. Sebastian, Alex, all they can do is just try to stay in 1-2. But at the same time, Riku's maintaining about that second gap between him and Alex. He's not going to push it. He knows that all they have to do is just stay where they're at, and they can come away out of this with the world championship. But UK and Ireland right now, options are kind of limited. DH options kind of limited. All Finland has to do is finish.
And the important thing here, Adam, is that even if there's going to be a look at the incident involving Club DH and Club UK and Ireland, there's nothing that can be done to take points away from Club Finland. It's going to be an argument between DH and Club UK and Ireland. That means that essentially Club Finland will still be in P3, P4, P5, P6, P7. You cannot take positions away from a club because of the fact that another club's being penalised. It's not the way it works. It's only between those two parties involved.
That's right. And even if it comes down to something like that, and you see some points changed hands because of incidents, fine. But the people on the track themselves, too, that can take points away, that being the Club Canada drivers and the Club Northwest drivers, the closest Club Canada driver or Club Northwest driver to the top of the field is sitting in 12th place with Colin Penny. And he almost lost it just a minute ago through the S's. And they're the ones right now that control the fate of just about everybody as far as shaking things up. And right now, it just ain't happening.
We're going to step aside very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just one moment after this.
Hey guys, I'm Jack, and welcome to this week.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to RaceSpotTV on iRacing Live. There you can see the number 8 car of Club DH, and that is Alexander Voss, the highest placed Club DH driver right now, Rachel.
Yes, he is, Will, and they're sitting up right now in P number 7, so great spot for them, but it's not a bad one either. Of course, UK and I have 2 cars above them, so that could be beneficial in a second place recovery. Of course, Andrew Borcher and we've lost Martin Cronke as well. Andrew Kinsella is running, but quite far down the field. I believe, no, he's Canada. I was thinking he was DH. But we've got a few cars down, many positions, both from Germany, DH, Finland, and UK and I. So not as in the bag as we thought it might be. But Finland really have to run a consistency race here and just finish because they're Finnish. There you go. But they're in a pretty good spot to take this one just by taking this nice safe race for this one. I think UK and I are in a better spot for second, but we will have to look at the numbers.
Yeah, as we see that 15 minutes of this race almost scored complete here, as it is still UK and Ireland leading 1 and 2. Of course, the big factor in this event here, Adam, will be what is going on in split number 2. We don't know this one yet. We'll find out after the event, but this could well be a key factor in this event from now on in.
Exactly. On the oval side of things, we saw that Finland didn't fare as well in the split number 1. They dominated split number 2. So what happens if something like that's happening over there in split 2 right now? Maybe UK's dominating. We just don't know. But at this point, Finland, they just got to stay pretty much where they're at. That second gap kind of fell between a half second between Alex and Riku. That's back up to about a second. But as long as Alexander can put some pressure here on Tommy, that might try to force the finish hands, and maybe we'll see something. Could be an incident, could be something to even shake up the points even further.
Been riding on board with Rob Reed, trying to hound down Patrick Coachman there, Rachel, into 130R, into the Casio triangle, but Reed was about 0.2 of a second back at one point. He can't do anything in sector number 3.
No, it's a bit far back, and it's not really somewhere you can take advantage, so you have to wait till he gets closer again next time by before we can really see anything come from this one. It's not a good spot for that to happen, of course, and I believe we might know we don't already, but I think Matt Dalton might be wanting a word shortly, so we might be able to talk to him from the Club UK9 captain.
Yeah, we'll talk to him in just one moment's time. So here is a look then at your top 8 as they stand club-wise. UK9 from UK9, and 4 finish drivers and 2 DX drivers. We'll get a word with Matt Dalton, as I say, in a couple of moments' time. But UK9 lead, then 4 finish drivers, and then 2 DX drivers in this split. Still another split to go as well. So we'll get an update about that one as soon as we can. As we're having a look here, high above, behind the trees there, is the driver, the number 29 machine. That is a Rob Reed. He is the first driver outside of your top 8 as it stands right now. But have a look down the field. You got yourself a nice little scrap going on. P number 18 and 19 all the way down your field. That's what the World Cup is all about here, Adam. Big drivers battling each other from up and down the field.
It is, and even despite what's going on with the championship points and everything else right now, there's still a race to run, and it's an exciting race as far as, you're starting to see at the point in the run where you're starting to see little mistakes being made, and, it's going to be a question of who makes these little mistakes in some of these big battles that we have going on right now.
Matt Dalton's here. Matt, updates?
There's not a lot you can say, mate, really. Just turn 1... absolutely creamed 2 of our best guys, really, and I don't know why a pro like Martin would make a mistake like that, because that was a bit rookie, but there we go. That's Finland can just sit back and cruise around now. There's not a lot they need to do.
Split 2, any updates on that at all?
I believe we have 3 guys in the top 10, but with the decimation we've got from split 1, I don't think it's going to be enough, which is a real shame for the guys.
While they are, Matt Dalton, we'll talk to him a little bit later on, but Club UK9 are looking dejected all of a sudden, but still leading this event is Sebastian Job from Alex Simpson. Ricardo Tallo is in 3rd. Oli Picardo runs himself in P number 4 right now in the number 26 machine, heading himself down in towards Boom Curve. And this is a timed race, not a lapped race. So these guys here will be running as Picardo's going to go wide. And that is down at Spoon Curve. Rachel, how many times have we seen that?
Way too many times to count, Will. Spoon Curve is on the entry to Spoon Curve, I should say, is one of the usual opportunities for running wide, just like Degner 2. Drivers have to really watch out in those places on this racetrack, as well as we run up here now with Tommy Hakala. Got to watch out for that run out of 130R, which is a very easy place to make a big mistake.
Yeah, let's ride ourselves then a lap on board with the driver of... Actually, let's ride it on board with the driver of Alexander Voss, actually, in the Club DH machine, as he's got himself a bit of company with Patrick Holtzman right behind him on track. So let's go on board with Alexander Voss. We'll be back in a moment as Holtzman gets past Voss.
Junis just had a problem.
That's Eunice the Courier by the looks of it. Yeah, indeed. You notice the number 27 machine. There you can see Nakurian in the number 27 car. Let's have a look back and figure out what we can see. And well, he was onto the gravel. That's all I know at this stage. But Adam, he was onto the gravel.
Yeah, he definitely let some people get by him there. So that was almost a rough deal. But now Rob Reed's trying to reel him in even after the off track there.
He got himself, and he hit the wall just a little bit as well. He got himself loose there in the middle part of the S's, pushed himself wide, got himself a little bit of suspension damage. You can see him trying to sort that car out, see whether it can drive. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come onto a pit road, Rachel, this time by.
Yeah, it could be interesting to see him come onto pit road, as I believe we've seen a warning from the race stewards for the DH driver of Niels Nock, the number 98 machine for Club DH, getting a driver warning there. I'm not sure what that's in relation to, but he has certainly been flagged by the stewards. We'll see if anything more comes of that. He just got past one of the Canadian cars. I believe he gets very tight there, going through the spoon curve, goes wide onto the grass and ends up losing a spot. So, not a great day for him.
No, as you've got yourself. Yeah, sorry, Adam, didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right. I wanted to point out that one driver to probably keep an eye on here too is Dennis Hershka from DH. He's been close a couple of times to reeling in Rob and Junis now. If he can keep his car straight and start minimizing his mistakes, because he's made a few, he might try to do a little damage, get a little deeper into the top 10.
Well, that means that he will try and get himself up into P number 9 on track. And that'll be the one of the highest place that we've seen one of those drivers here on the iRacing.com service in the World Cup of iRacing. But it's interesting to note that this battle still continues to go on. And Rachel, it has calmed down a little bit. Holtzman can't close up to the rear of Hucker.
No, right now things are pretty interesting up towards the front end of your field there. The driver of Patrick Holtzman just can't quite make that. So it's not going to be a good run. Of course, the DH driver trying to catch that Finnish driver who ran so well in the road race. The oval race, I apologise. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can make that move. A lot of cars quite close together in this one. Of course, Hacker and Holtzman pretty close together. We have Reed, Nikarian and Hershka. They're pretty close together. That's a great battle developing we have there. So also Niels Koch and also Sean Rietzman. That's the number 21 machine from Club Northwest. Looking ready for a good fight. But at the front, pretty quiet. Job and Simpson separated by about 2 seconds. So quiet so far. But Riku Alatalo is starting to close in. That gap is down to 1.5 seconds. So looking forward to see what happens here.
Yeah, could you let me know, Rachel, though, how Dennis Hershka is actually doing in the number 2 car? Because it does look as though he's one of the biggest movers inside your top 10. He's up 5 places overall. But that guy is pushing it right now.
He is pushing, but let's not forget we've also had a few derpy deaths take place in your top 10 of the field. So, ain't a few that way. But Hershka doing a good job right now. Up from P15 in qualifying to P10. A car just not perhaps looking like he's got the speed right now, running a 42.082. But actually, that is on pace with your leaders. I'm just looking now. Apart from Alex Simpson, who's running right now. Last time by, he was nearly a second faster than Sebastian Job in first. Alatalo about the same speed, a little faster though than Simpson. So things actually closing up in the middle on your leader.
Yeah, one thing to know with Hershka is that he can put down some incredibly quick lap times. I mean, we're already starting to see it. It's going back, though, especially through the S's. I've noticed his back end really wanting to try to come around on him, and he's had to get out of the throttle. If he can keep that back end planted on the ground, that's going to be where he's going to be able to make up some ground.
Well, taking a quick look through your field right now. See what's going on for some of your Northwest and Canada drivers. They've been almost played third fiddle in this race, Adam. Of course, they've just been outshadowed by the big three, which we kind of expected, but there are some major props to fight for here of the best of the North American teams. And right now, looking a little stronger for Club Northwest. Of course, Jimbo Pfeiffer is sitting back 1 lap down, P number 23. There's some good drivers a bit further up. We have Jeff Heaney in P14. That's a good position right now for the driver from Club Canada. That lovely red and white car. I love some of the schemes we see every year, of course. The World Cup, Adam. Some of the clubs bring some awesome artwork to the track, and of course Canada going with their national colours, Finland doing the same. Diach, mixing and matching from the multiple nations they have as part of their club. Then with UK and I, it's always a great opportunity to see some artistic flair and patriotism flying around.
Oh yeah, and I always love that whenever you look at a Northwest scheme, you sometimes you have to look at it. Sometimes it's kind of obvious. In this case, it's a little bit obvious, but they always have a Bigfoot on there somewhere. In this case, it's right up there on the nose. So yeah, definitely inventive schemes. I had the privilege of making the Team Texas scheme for a lot of our guys. That was a lot of fun. Just trying to show some pride there. But definitely colorful.
Was it the Cannon paint scheme again?
No. I will admit though, I did sneak a cannon on each of those and hope that somebody would find it. But
we do know that they do love their cannons, of course. But yeah.
But no, actually, this year I featured the Austin Capitol Dome on our oval car, and on the DW12 I put like the Texas Rangers badge on there. So always try to keep with something that's a little bit on the historical side. But getting back to some of the smaller clubs there, I really think Andy Fuller has been the one from Northwest, though, that's been able to run the cleanest race out of those guys so far. It shows. He's sitting in 12th. But a lot of the Northwest guys took some damage in the earlier incidents. I don't think the Canadians got very far away.
Actually, this is lap 13. We are 24 minutes in, so we're looking like we're halfway through. This should be a scheduled stop for Andy Fuller in P12. Currently 48 seconds back from your race leader, but this is a scheduled stop. We're expecting it to be in for some Sunoco race fuel and Firestone tyres on that DW12 race car, and he should be back out again. Currently the highest placed North American driver in your field, Andy Fuller. That 04 machine's been doing very well. Looking at his lap times though, it does seem that they're perhaps a little struggling on the roadside. 43-second laps have been the fastest for him, and he's been the highest placed car, so just some road weakness from the North American clubs, perhaps, Andy?
Absolutely, just a little bit. And while we've been talking, Rico has finally decided he's going to go ahead and try to push the issue a little bit with Alex. He's been alongside of him a couple of times. It's almost had the pass completed once or twice.
Yeah,
here he goes again.
By the way,
he does. Rico Alatalo looking for that position on Alex Simpson in P number 2. Simpson playing the defensive game for Sebastian Job, but looking like a very, very dicey Rico Alatalo has torn himself away from Counter-Strike and is now actually racing a race car, so we'll see if he can make this move as they run up towards our 130R. Alatalo very brave with some of his racing moves. Will he try a run through the corner? Will this be a dive at the hairpin? We'll have to find out. Will, I hear you're back.
I have to wonder, are they trying to use the push to pass right now, or are they trying to conserve those, knowing it might be needing them a little bit later on in the run? Keep in mind, they've already made their pit stops, so now they're good to go till the end, but how long is this battle going to keep up between them?
Well, it's a very close battle, of course. Alatalo came onto pit road right behind the car there of Simpson, so this battle is really firing up once again. This will go down to the line, of course. You can use that push to pass any time on the track, unlike Formula 1, where you have to be within certain zones to deploy DRS. IndyCar drivers can use this whenever they wish, so strategic use of simply every 3 or 4 laps as a speed boost, perhaps, or defensive or offensive purposes. So, had a very useful 25-second boost of horsepower to these cars. Drivers control at the push of a button, only 10 times though per race, which is a major limiting factor for those drivers. That battle there between Alatalo and Simpson definitely evolving as Job still leads the way. Sebastian Job has not been onto pit road yet, so early strategic stop there by the car of Simpson, Adam. I was trying to go in early, get a run on Alatalo, not expecting Alatalo to come with him.
Yeah, a little bit of strategy, but at the same time, here, you're not going to lose an incredible amount of time, whether you delay or come in early or come in late, rather. And so as far as strategy-wise, hey, they can make it now to the end. So that probably played more role in it. They're not losing too much time to Sebastian compared to what they were. But at the same time, now instead of having a battle where, hey, somebody's coming onto the track, or they're both coming back onto the track going into turn one together, as opposed to one person going slow, one person going fast. So I think just in the grand scheme of things, at least from a fan's standpoint, I'm kind of glad they did it that way, because now we're shaping up to have an incredible battle between the two here. And Alex runs wide.
He does. Alex Simpson running very wide, giving a spot up to Sebastian Job in turn 2 under pressure. And he has unfortunately conceded that spot. Patrick Holzman still has yet to pit. But everybody else has, in fact, come into pit road, including Sebastian Job, your race leader before, who will inherit this now when he crosses the line. Holzman has just been on pit road. We'll see that scored, but 15 laps for Sebastian Job with a dominant position right now. We'll see exactly what that gap is. It should be in a region of, Adam, about 4 or 5 seconds for him, but he is catching lap traffic.
Yeah, I believe it was about 5 seconds before the cycle of pit stops started, so it'll be about that when they get done. But Riku now seems like he's going to go ahead and push it, so it wouldn't surprise me if he starts trying to chip away at the lead. And now that he does not fighting with Alex and taking up time with that, the question is going to be, does he have enough time left in the race to catch Sebastian?
That will be the critical component in this one. Can Club Finland steal a win in the top split? Wins in the second split for the oval race. Can they crown what looks to be set a fairly successful victory for Club Finland with a win in the top split on the road side? Rico Alatalo will be the man for them if he can get there. He is the furthest towards the front, the closest for this battle. Will we now see him take this position as they cross the line? We'll see exactly what the gap is. Back from Sebastian Job. What does Alatalo have to make up? Alatalo is 5.2 seconds back at him. That is quite a large gap to make up, as we're just approaching 30 minutes in. We have 15 minutes left to go. Can he do it?
No. Simple as that. No.
And Will returns, just like that.
Yeah, no. Simple as that. I don't think that Alatalo has got the ability to pass Sebastian Job. He might be able to catch him up. Last time by, he was a tenth of a second slower. It's a case, Rachel, that realistically, Alatalo doesn't need to push. He shouldn't push. If he does push, it's another driver loss for Club Finland. He right now needs to basically put pressure upon Job, but not push too hard.
Very much so. He has to really push, and I just think he has to be very careful what he's doing now, otherwise it could get him unstuck.
So there you can see Alatalo, he works himself in that second position right now. You can see just behind him is Alex Simpson, a further 1.3 seconds back there. We all zoom in on that club number 14. UK and Ireland car as he comes down in towards Boone Curve for what will be his 17th tour around this racetrack so far. So there you can see Alex Simpson in the UK and Ireland car, but it's Job that leads from Alatalo from Simpson, then Picard, then Hacker, then Holtzman, Voss, Nakurian, Reed and Hutchka. They round out your top 10 as we'll zoom back in then on the driver of Simpson as he comes down in through the 130R in towards the Cassia Triangle. And what, Adam, you always seem to notice how crazy this final sequence of corners are at Suzuka, because it is that close.
Really is. You're right on the edge. The edge of grip, the edge, the edge of mechanical downforce, and the edge of aerodynamic downforce. And it's very easy to slip over that edge, and before you know it, you're sliding sideways or you're sliding into the wall. But these guys, so far, at least through those last sequence of corners, for the most part, they've been able to ride that edge very well. If we start seeing some more pressure for positions, which Riku is just a touch closer to Sebastian, not enough yet, but if we start seeing more pressure for positions, those final sequence of corners are going to play more of a role.
Simpson still runs himself in P number 3. 15 minutes to go here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. David Hutchka still battling out with Rob Reed, Rach, and this is still for P number 9, P number 10 on track.
Yeah, an exciting one forming up there, actually, between those guys as Hutchka and Nakurian and Reed. Well, Nakurian has pulled away somewhat. He's 4 seconds at the road now, but that could all change, of course. Rob Reed, though, defending now from Club DH. It's more of an honour fight here, though, Will. I think it's UK and I wanting to be ahead of DH. This would be the highest running. No, it wouldn't. That'd be Alexander Voss, but Rob Reed just doesn't want to let the bleeding continue. He'd like to try and finish ahead of the driver of Hutchka. But Hershko, of course, a big mover up from P15 in the grid to P number 10. Well, guess who started in front of him there? As he runs wide through Spoon Curve, Rob Reed started 14th and he's 9th, so they moved exactly the same positions together.
Yeah, they can see the gap between Rob Reed and Yusin Curry in 4.3 seconds right now. They can see the gap between Rob Reed and Dennis Hurchka. Just 2.5 tenths of a second. As Adam, these guys have still got racing to go side by side in towards the triangle. No, not just yet.
Yeah, it's getting to be very exciting for some of these guys. One thing to note, too, Rico just had a terrible lap in comparison to what Sebastian did. That he cannot have any more like that if there's any hope at all, which we already know. You don't think there's hope, and I'm beginning to think there's not either, as far as seeing a battle for the lead by the end of this race, but still plenty of action around the track.
Well, last time by, it was a 140.629 for Sebastian Job, a 141.443 for Riku Alataule. 13 minutes to go here in the World Cup of iRacing.com finals. We'll take you side by side for the final time. We'll be back after this.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There are exactly now 10 minutes to go of the iRacing.com World Cup Finals for 2015. And here are a look at your top 8 by team. You can Island lead from Finland. Then UK Island are in third. Then Finland again. Then DH Finland, DH Finland. Basically, Rachel, if you've got a car in even number space inside your top 8, they are a Finnish driver. Well, let's have a look at the drivers out of the race so far. And, of course, most of these, Adam, were out in the early going. Andre Borcher, Richard Avery, Martin Cronke, we saw on lap number 1. Colin Penny, Brian Bennett, Neil Koch, Bruce Selson, and Joel Tremblay all out of the race. But it is worth noting, of course, the success and the gratitude that we owe to all of the clubs here today. We're going to start with, at the rear of your field, we're going to start with our drivers from Club Northwest. And Rachel, Northwest have been incredibly fun to be around these last couple of weeks. They are doing an incredible job, and we hope Club Northwest all the best. And we probably hope to see them at the same place next year. Apologies for the quick interruption we had there. You're literally listening to the Will Vincent Show. We do apologise for that. But Bruce Nelson there, down in P number 23. And Rachel, we were talking about the fact that we got to give credit to Club Northwest. These guys running in P number 23, 25. They got a couple of people ahead as well. But Northwest, a great job by them so far this season. Also for Club Canada, being in the top 5 clubs in all of iRacing.
Yeah, it's a great position for them to be in, of course, and they're doing an impressive job to be up there. I believe we've actually managed to get the sound back on the stream, so...
well, if it wasn't back, you wouldn't be able to hear that, so...
It wouldn't be, no, but apparently people can only hear you, I'm not sure. But, yeah, impressive results there from Northwest and Canada to get up to this top table, to get involved with UK and I, Diach and Finland, arguably the 3 superpowers of iRacing. It's pretty impressive, you know? They've come out and they've shown themselves, and often we hear the Americans talking about why they shouldn't have a USA club. Well, you'd have way too many people proportionally in terms of iRacing, and I don't know if they could still match the road prowess of what we see here from the likes of Finland and Diach. It's just incredible talent these two groups have. I do think the American teams, though, really don't quite get the World Cup as much as the European clubs, and it's quite a shame.
Yeah, and I agree. It's that whole thing over country versus club versus this, that, and the other. Setups are a big thing. You talked about that earlier on, Adam, and of course setups are a big thing in determining whether or not a club is going to be successful, because of course they're not going to share data, then they're not going to actually share anything else.
It is, you know, and it all boils down to a lot of that. And of course, we all know setups aren't everything. There's there's the driver dynamic involved too.
You've never
I'll tell you
driven an
personally.
IndyCar.
Yeah,
I have,
everything.
but you know, it's you know, you still have to have the man behind the wheel, and that's where another area where I do think we do get outclassed a little bit. But I'll tell you personally, I don't feel like I would want to see a full U.S. club. I don't know if it would be great from a competition standpoint. I kind of like things the way they are.
You could always go Mountain, Eastern, and West.
You could.
Well, can you do it properly? Eastern, Central,
and West,
Mountain.
whichever they
Break it
call
up
it,
by
Mountain
time zone?
time.
Do it properly.
Yeah, but then
properly.
the Alaskans and the Hawaiians and
Oh,
the,
God, here
the
we
short
go.
end
Yeah.
of the stick again.
The people that are stuck off
It's
the,
okay. What
of
you
the
do here,
continental
Adam, is you
US
play
club,
another
we can
game,
have the
and
non-ones.
we have another World Cup, and we include them as an extra win or loss.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what I mean, don't you?
I do. And while we've been talking here, we've got Ollie from Finland is closed up to within just a couple of tenths of a second on Alex from the UK and Ireland. I'm wondering if Ollie's going to try to give Finland a little insurance points here. I don't think they need them. I don't think he needs to push it. But, hey, maybe something's going on in the other split we don't know about.
Yeah, Ollie Picardo
The times
right
have
now.
closed in, actually, to Job Will, so it's down to 3.6 seconds from 6.2 between Job and Alatalo. So Alatalo pushing hard.
Yeah, as you can see there, Oli Picard, he's right up in the rear. They're going to get past some bits of lap traffic right now. 1/3 of a second, 3 minutes and 30 seconds going to be remaining on the clock by the time I finish this comment. But Alex Simpson is still pushing hard, and you can see Oli Picard is right behind him on Rachel.
He is, and this is going to make it really interesting for these last few laps. Of course, just under 2 minutes remaining, so we're looking at maybe 1 lap, 2 laps, so this is it now. What can they do? Can we have 2 UK9 drivers on the podium? Will Picard steal the spot there and put it into a finish podium, which would really secure their points? So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens. If anything, Finland are probably safe. It could be up to them to just let Simpson stay in there. Perhaps see if UK9 can top Diach.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one, and of course that'll be interesting for the emotions and what happens to these clubs post-race here. We see ourselves, Joni Backman is down in P number 14. He's a club captain for Club Finland, and he is all the way down in P number 14. But Jonas Kurian is down in P number 8. That's a good job by him. Rob Reed in P number 10. Andy Fuller, he runs himself in the 04 car, and he is, of course, a Club Northwest driver. In fact, if I mentioned it correctly there, Adam, I believe he is the highest placed Club Northwest driver.
He is, and you know, the Club Northwest hasn't had the great showing that they are capable of, I think, in the grand scheme of things, especially based on some of the incidents that we saw in the race. But hey, they're here, they fought for it, and I know for a fact those guys had a lot of fun doing it.
And you know that with just 2 minutes left to go then of the World Cup of iRacing, well, it is almost now a certain deal, but Rachel, Sebastian Job still holds on. Gap between himself and P number 2, Riccardo Tale, 4.2 seconds. Job wants his victory, and you said this off air. How ironic is it that UK Ireland win both the top splits, but lose out overall in the World Cup?
Well, if anything, it'd be an honour recovery, really. It's UK9 showing exactly what they could do. And it's very hard for me as a member of the club and somebody who's been involved with the team this year and last year to really be impartial about the whole thing. But, you know, we have to, and it's... Finland are honestly so impressive. I really, every single year, I see their performance and see what they do, and it's awesome. And we've done a lot of work, and I want to say for Matt Dalton that the club itself has done so much work this year on building the club group, building the mentality, building the cooperation, you know, learning how to build setups to this level on both road and oval. And it's made such a huge difference, and I think every club in iRacing can do it, whether they want to or not. Realistically, you only need 30 or 40 drivers, and it could be done. And it shows what can be done when you push towards it. And to take both wins, I think, would be an incredibly impressive signal of, you know, we were here, things went wrong, but at the same time, it's an incredible result to get, if we still get it. But at the same time, it says for next year, watch out, we are definitely a threat this time. If we hadn't had incidents, or if the club hadn't had incidents in certain races and derp from other, you know, clubs, it would have been a whole different story, and I think Finland will be scared.
Through the Dunlop curve then for the final time will come Sebastian Job in this event. The lights are out, the time has elapsed, there is one more lap to go. Down in towards the hairpin will come Sebastian Job for the final time in this event. He's got himself a 5-second advantage over Ruku Alatali. Alex Simpson runs himself in 3rd place right now in the Apex Racing UK car, and then Oli Pakala ran out podium 4 for the forensic computing course. However, don't forget, this is not the end of the World Cup of iRacing. As soon as we finish the broadcast, Rachel and Adam and the rest of the gang here from RaceSpotTV will take on the post-race show here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. But for Sebastian Job, well, it's going to be bittersweet right now. He comes to the 130R and he heads himself down to the Casio Triangle. He knows he has done all he can do here in this event. He will exit the final corner and head himself down towards that first turn, turn number 1, for the final time in this event. But Although Sebastian Job will win here today and will win it for the second time for UK and Ireland, it will be Club Finland as unofficially the 2015 World Cup champions. Suomi once again are victorious, and the reason why is they have themselves P2, P4, P6, P8, unless there's been a miracle of miracle, and when I say this, Adam, I mean literally a miracle in Jordan O'Hare, then it's going to be Club Finland who's won this World Cup.
Absolutely. 100 points is a lot to overcome. I don't think we saw the finishes out of the other club that we need to see it. But now it's just a waiting game to make it official and see what the results are from Split 2 and have Mike and gang put everything together.
Well, let's get ourselves then a look at your final race results. Here they are, up on your screen right now. Job wins by 4.4 seconds over Ricardo Talo, then Simpson, then Pakala, then Holtzman, Haka, Voss, Nakurian, Reed, and Hertzkop. They are your top 10. We head on back. You can see Backman in the 11th, then Fuller, Unet, Healy. They are all drivers finishing on the lead lap. Purka, Rootsman, Hutchinson, Rushworth, Pfeiffer, and Swozak, all classified as one lap down. And there is a look at the rest of your results here today from the 2015 World Cup of iRacing.com finals. Well, I'm going to say one thing. As far as it seems right now, here are your World Cup champions. They are Club Finland. They are dancing into the sunset. We will be right back after these messages. You're watching RaceSpotTV on iRacing Live.
Hey guys, I'm Jack, and welcome to This Week on iRacing, a brand new series that covers this week's race schedules, live events, and iRacing news. Starting off the lineup with rookies, we have the Mazda Cup at Summit Point, and the Street Stock cars return to Charlotte. The Skip Barber car also hit Summit Point in the short configuration, while the Spec Racer Ford is at Interlagos. The NASCAR iRacing Series this week is at Phoenix International Raceway, while the IndyCar Oval Racing Series is at Auto Club Speedway, and the IndyCar Winter Series is at Road America. In the world of open wheel, one of our new series, the Dallara Dash, is also at Phoenix, but as the 2008 version of the track. The Lotus 49 is at Silverstone, and the Lotus 79 is at Phillip Island. And last but not least, the Star Mazda is at Watkins Glen. The IMSA Sports Car Challenge Series, featuring one of our newest releases, the Corvette Daytona Prototype, hits the road course at Daytona, while the Blancpain Sprint Series is at Bathurst, and the Blancpain Endurance Series is at Zolder. In the world of short track, the SK Modified races at Stafford Motor Speedway, while the late model races at Bristol. Both the Super Late Model and Tour Modified cars are racing at New Hampshire. Finally, both V8 Supercars and the GT1 World Championship races at Interlagos. The Mazda Road to 24 shootout, featuring iRacers Glenn McGee and Richard Eklund, takes place today at Carolina Motorsports Park. The shootout is an annual competition to test selected up-and-coming racers on and off the track, with the ultimate prize of a $100,000 scholarship towards racing in the 2016 Battery Tender MX-5 Cup. Richard and Glenn were selected from the top 10 drivers of the iRacing Mazda Cup back in Season 3. Help root for them on social media with the hashtag MRT24. Stay tuned next week for a video recap of the event. Aside from the weekly scheduled broadcasts on iRacing.com/live, the Neo Endurance Series, widely regarded as the premier endurance racing league, hits Circuit of the Americas in round 2 of the series in a 6-hour endurance event on Sunday. This follows the Gathering of Tweakers Endurance Series at COTA in a 3-hour endurance event. A quick shout out to the NASCAR Pro and Road Pro Series, now in full swing, with a new round every week. Round 2 of the NASCAR Pro Series hits Phoenix on Tuesday, while Round 2 of the Road Pro Series hits Montreal on Saturday. Check out our full schedule on iRacing.com/live. That's all for this week. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you on the track.
And welcome back to RaceSpotTV for the post-race show here from the World Cup of iRacing. Rachel Whiteford here with Adam J. Young, joined by, of course, Joni Backman right now and Matt Dalton from Club Finland and Club UK&I. We will, of course, be just talking to those in just a moment. But Adam, it's been an exciting race on the roadside, as we can ask Joni to close his microphone, Joni. As we can hear your background noises. Hi, Joni, yes. But it's been, of course, an incredible race. Of course, a little bit more casual post-race show here, but we had one heck of a fight today between all the clubs. Canada, Club Northwest, Finland, UK and Ireland, and Diach. We've seen an amazing amount of racing on the oval and roadside, and honestly, I'm not sure any of the drivers or teams involved can say it's been a bad one.
No, it's been an exciting event. Once again, Mike and gang have put on an excellent World Cup tournament. And eyeballing things here, just eyeballing, nothing official. I think Finland's going to come away with the title. Just real quick, in split 2, Finland won. Diach finished 2-3. Finland in 4th and UK&I in 5th. So they placed very well over there as well. Seems like most of the Finland drivers were able to stay out of trouble, whereas opposed to some of the UK and Ireland and some of the DH guys found themselves in some trouble. Of course, you can debate all day long about who caused what and everything else, but the bottom line is that we have most likely a World Cup champion, and it was settled on the track. And they did what they needed to do, even without winning split 1 on the oval and roadside.
Very much so. I don't think I could put it better myself, but of course, Club Finland have started in their typical fashion. They've already started posting GIFs and memes across the iRacing forum, quoting, of course, Counter-Strike, but not quite so easy, Alexi, if you're listening. More like a very narrow clutch. So, better luck next time. In fact, Alexi Aloma saying GG easy, quoting, of course, Counter-Strike, but not quite so easy, Alexi, if you're listening. More like a very narrow clutch. So, better luck next time. It's been, of course, an exciting time. We'll hopefully get to talk to Joni now, as I make sure he's aware that we want to actually talk to him. But Joni, you're, of course, joining us now. How is the Finnish war machine preparing for the amount of GIFs you'll be posting on the forums in the next couple of days?
We'll most likely be gathering donations to set up a new server for the GIFs only. So hopefully it'll last the load. We'll see.
You do have a support contract from Dell or somebody like that for that, right?
Yeah, or either that or Intel. Sure.
Well,
Very much so. But hopefully, Johnny, even incredible race from you guys. Consistent performance as always. The oval perhaps didn't look like it was going your way initially, but it seemed to be the depth of performance you guys had in the second splits of both races that clutched this for you.
Yeah, the old saying goes: in order to finish first, you must finish.
Or be finished in this case.
Yeah, well, both. But yeah, anyway, that's what I told from the start. Just like everyone, to just don't do anything stupid, and no matter what, just try to put the car, bring the car to the finish line. Even if you lose 5 positions, just let it go. Just bring the car home. But to be totally honest, in Wednesday, I almost lost hope for this World Cup because, like, 3 days before the finals, I just had a notification that like 5 of our assigned team members just informed that one had broke his wheel, couldn't do anything, and then others had like urgent tasks to do in real life, and they couldn't participate. And I was like, holy crap, this is gonna be bad. But luckily, we were able to gather up a field that did the job.
So I suppose your driver who broke his wheel ended up doing it with the keyboard and still winning. But it's we've also been joined by apparently interesting comments there from Oli Pakala. Oli, of course, great race from you today in the road side of things, coming home in 4th, nearly taking a podium finish towards the very end. Was that a decision to play it safe and not take the risk?
Yeah, it was obviously playing it safe. Oh, yeah, I'm usually faster than this.
Good excuse. Yeah, we'll stick with that one. You, of course, ran both the road and oval side. What was your experience of the whole thing?
Oh yeah, I didn't actually drive the oval side. That it was this morning that I decided that I will race and started practicing. But as an experience, you know, when you fight for the championship with the how is it, 24 Finns against all big nations, and it's a massive experience to drive for a nation, to represent Finland. It's yeah, it feels great.
Now,
Very much so. Oh, sorry, Adam.
hi. Now, this is probably a question I want to hear both you guys' side on it, Joni and Ollie. One of the conversations that we're having up at the booth tonight was about team cooperation. Talk a little bit about how you guys organize and how you guys have really been a model to other clubs starting to try to do what you do as far as getting themselves organized and working together.
You mean on the track or outside of the actual event?
Both. Why not?
Well, on the track, basically, I just told everyone to bring the car to the finish line. But outside of that, I also said that, like, in terms of cooperation, that if you clearly are lacking pace and you have like a two Finns at each other's tail and the front guy is clearly slower, just do whatever you can to make it easy for the guy behind to get the front, and like always try to get the fastest guy forwards. I mean, it's not a personal event, it's a team event, so just forget what the position you're running and just let the other team member have it. But outside of the race, I mean out of the track, it's pretty much been the same story that it's 365 days a year. We have a active TeamSpeak group that is talking about stuff and testing stuff, giving like suggestions, what to do for the setup and when to people host practices, and especially big props to our oval crew. They really used like more hours than I can think of to get the setups right, and also have to say, honestly, I have to say that I feel very sad for UK and I. They really had, after the ovals, I was very confident, I mean sure, that UK is gonna blast the top split into the space, but with their pace. But they had the worst misfortune ever, so I feel really sad for them.
Well, of course, it's been a day of trial and tribulation. We have to also point out for Northwest and also for Canada, some stellar performances from two teams even that perhaps weren't ranked as highly in people's minds as the others, but at the end of the day, they came home in 4th and 5th in the World Cup of iRacing, which is an incredible achievement. And I believe we're joined by Matt Dalton. We've not had anybody from DH turn up yet, but Matt, it's a crushing day. In fact, we do have a Canadian. We actually have a real-life Canadian trapped in the wild. We are joined by, it's Mr. Kinsella, I believe that is. Andrew Kinsella.
Yes, hello, Rachel.
Hello. Well, we trapped a Canadian in the wild. We brought him here onto RaceSpotTV. Tell us about your race, Andrew. Of course, you came home today in a very honourable 15th place. How was it for you?
It was a rough race, to be honest. The first few laps of that race definitely was a little bit rough and tumble. Bit of a rude welcome onto the World Cup stage for Canada, but we hung in there, and we definitely, I think, proved that we deserve to be in this final along with Northwest and of course, the Big Three. And we're very proud, especially of how we all came together behind the scenes to get us set up for this race.
Yeah, and to that, mate, I just want to make a comment to you, not so much a question, but you guys had more people pulling for you than I think you realize for old Canada up there, and you guys looked really good compared to what we've seen in previous years, and you had a lot of people pulling for you. Anything you want to say to them?
Just that, thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it. And we did feel the support coming in from many different areas, and we're hope that to do even better next year and to build on this and make Canada a force in this World Cup year after year.
An incredible performance from Club Canada, of course, and they are now, of course, officially in this year's top 5 of the iRacing World Cup. So they are ranked 5th in the world, at least, which is an incredible achievement for Canada, one of the smaller clubs, although one of the largest land masses of any nations in the entire world. So there you go. Great one, Canada. But I'm going to talk to Alex Simpson now and Matt Dalton. Alex Simpson, of course, came home today in P number 3 in the road race, narrowly beating out Ollie for that position. I'm sure you guys can fight that one out later.
Rachel, can I interrupt here real quick?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Final points are in.
Oh, we have points. We should have a drum roll.
We do. And now this is all just provisional, pending protests and stuff like that. Finland, 1,191 points. They are your world champions. UK and Ireland, 912. DH, 899. Northwest, 693. And Club Canada, 656.
Well, there we go. We have the points in. Canada, you are confirmed the 5th best nation in the world of iRacing, which is an incredible achievement for your club. And, yep, I believe Will is owing Mr. Matthew Dalton of the UK and I Club some sort of forfeit or challenge after he claimed the UK and I would finish 3rd. But we are going to talk now to Matt Dalton and Alex Simpson. Guys, second, does it solve the burn somewhat?
I don't know what Alex will think on that one, but for me, no. No. It stings a bit this year. I think we went into the road final with a real chance. We had some massively bad luck in the second split on the oval, which really hurt us. And yeah, to go into the road race with the positions we had going into the race, I thought we were in with a really good shout. And then, so yeah, first corner undid it all. And I think whatever anybody thinks of it, everybody will have their own opinion, I'm sure. But either way, that really cost us. And I think Finland have done their usual. They've got as many guys out as they can with as much consistency as they can, and they've just taken up as many of the top 10 positions they can, but they were there for the taking this year, and I think they know it, and we know it.
Very much so. And Alex, Ollie has said to us himself just before you came on air that, of course, he could beat you quite easily in those final few laps here at Suzuka, but he wanted to think of the points. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I had my push to passes left to go, so I could have defended pretty easily as well. Likewise, tires were a little bit ropey, and really Riku was just out of range, so it was just keeping going on at the back. Happy with the car. Good race. Made one little mistake which let Riku through. Already did what I needed to do then, which was just back the pack up a little bit and let Sib get away for the win. Just gutted really for the rest of the guys in turn 1. Obviously Jamie, Richard obviously out. 1, 2 and 3 in qualifying. Really strong. And sort of mid-pack as well was right there as well. We could have had a really strong result out there, so really gutted for them. Matt done a great job in organising everything. The guy has massive headache. I swear he gets bolder and bolder every year. And it's going to be a shame that he's stepping down as well. So whoever comes and fills his shoes has got mighty big ones to fill. So and I wish them all the best. And we'll support them moving forward. Hopefully we can get more of the pro and world championship drivers in there for next year.
Well, you know what they say about big shoes, Alex? He's got very big feet. That or really chunky socks, I'm not sure which.
It's
but
really chunky socks, definitely.
Yeah, joined by Zlatko Nidovic right now from Club DH. I believe, Zlatko, you're the club captain. Great performance from you guys as always. DH providing a very stalwart assault on the World Cup finals here. 3rd position, though, by a matter of 13 points. It's been close. How do you guys feel?
Good evening, Rachel. Thank you for inviting me. We're a little bit disappointed, as you might think. We expected a little bit more, maybe even 1st place, and it didn't look very good after the oval. But we had still high hopes on the roadside because we had a good team on the roadside, and it was not our day. So it's okay. We are third. We are still happy, but maybe tiny little bit disappointed.
Well, of course, it's been a very long competition. Not quite as long as it has been in previous years. A very condensed format we've had this year, don't forget, with a qualifying round, singular, on the same track as the tournament and final stages. So, a very compacted World Cup. And, of course, we've lost Joni here, but we do have Zlatko, we have Ollie, you can speak for Finland, the whole of your nation. And we have Matt Dalton. Guys, what do you think of the format? Did you like this format with 3 races on the same track? Or are you all now utterly sick and tired of Suzuka and Homestead?
Well, I can answer for Finland. Yeah, I think it's a good
Well, you
format.
picked it, so...
Yeah, obviously it's good because we pick it. It's the best format ever, and we will pick it the next year. But I think as long as every driver from every nation can get involved into this championship series, everyone is able to race against other nations with their own flag on their cars. So yeah, it's a great format.
What do you think, Matt and Zlatko?
I think the format was. Oh, sorry, Matt.
No, sir. You carry on.
Hi, Matt. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
The format is okay, I guess. It's condensed. It were like really 3 intensive weeks of a lot of work and trying to get all the drivers together. Not everybody has always time, and I really was hard work to fill up the roster. We've got drivers. So it was intense 3 weeks. It was not bad, but like other drivers said, like it was better when it was like stretched out over the year. So like the World Cup was kept in the conscience of the club. So this year it was a little bit surprising because people already forgot about the World Cup.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to it. I think we were aware that the longer format like they had last year was burning people out a little bit, and people were getting a bit sort of fed up of it coming up constantly. I think a short format is better, but I think the way it worked out this year, as Zlatko rightly identified, it did become a little bit of a grind. I mean, if I see a blue wall on an oval in the next 3 months, I'm likely to break down and have a nervous breakdown completely. I'll probably end up crying or something and pulling what's left of my beard out. It's good. It's a good format. It's a good competition. This is the last year I'm going to be involved with it on a club captain side. I've 2 years of it is more than enough stress for one man to handle. But I hope whoever comes in from UK and I gets involved with it and can get the club engaged. I think if there's honestly one big problem that we have, and I guess probably Zlatko will have the same issue, getting the best guys we have in the club consistently to turn out is an absolute nightmare, because far too often they're just either too busy with other series, too busy with pro series, too busy with race series, or blank on endurance or something. There was always something going on at the same time as the World Cup that just gets in the way of it. And I think, whether there's something in the scheduling we can look at to tweak that, I don't know. But certainly there's ways to keep more people entertained, I think.
It's so good to hear that you went through the same stuff as I did, because it was just the same here.
Yeah, we only had 14 available for the road by the end of today. That was it. And one of our guys that we were hoping to run didn't turn up, so that put us down to 13. So yeah, we only had one reserve. So if somebody's wheel had broken or something, it's not good enough for big clubs to be in that position. I think there are more guys that could have really put more effort in, frankly. There's an awful lot that appear on RaceSpotTV regularly on a Monday that do absolutely jack when it comes to club events.
And on that note, we're going to change direction slightly before Matt starts to offend the entire UK nightclub who didn't get involved in the World Cup. But we are joined now for the post-race Club Finland party by Jonas Pakaka and by Jari Latari. Guys, welcome to the Club Finland party.
Kiitos.
Well,
it's BYOB though, and you get empty. So
no, the Finns never turn up empty. That's the guarantee.
But I already had mine.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing.
They probably had theirs before the race, knowing Finns. But guys, of course, great racing from you lot today, and some excellent performance by the club in general. Anything you'd like to say?
My big thanks goes to actually Joni Backman. I didn't want to be in the second split, but I ended up winning it. I have never driven the DW12, and actually Mika Haapanen just bought the car. So
yeah. Well, excellent performance then, considering you just bought the car.
So, what was your first time in the car and everything else? What was your first impression of it, other than simply winning the race? What did you think of it?
I hate it.
Straight to the point.
You simply never can tell when you've got too much throttle on.
You just can't drive.
I know.
But yeah, I felt, I must say on my own behalf, that I felt like a sheep in a pack of wolves. I had no idea I was going to be in top split, and then just Beckman just came in and said, "Yeah, you're going to the top split," and I'm like, "What? I shouldn't even be in the second one. You're going to the top split." "Oh, well, I'm going to the top split," and well, we won. So I'm just so happy, so happy, so happy. And Riku was second with my setup.
Well, a very impressive performance, of course, from Club Finland in this one. And, of course, I believe the club that wins gets to pick the combination for next season. Not sure if that will carry over to the 2016 World Cup, of course. But what would you guys say to putting oval cars on a road course?
If it's trucks or the B car, I applaud it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, trucks at Mosport. Yeah.
Or Bathurst.
No.
Yes, the trucks
Don't
at
listen to
Bathurst
Rachel.
would be a great idea.
Don't listen to Rachel. She's been plugging this internally in the club for 4 months.
How about...
The next thing will be super late models around Brands Hatch or something. Don't listen to her.
Which should be amazing.
Late model is amazing. We're running a series in Finland, a road series with late models. I'm not kidding.
I'm not gonna lie. I ran a super late model race at Road America as part of the league a few weeks ago. It is probably the most fun experience I've had on a road in a long time.
Yeah, I've been racing as well with the. Oh yeah.
Well, there we go.
Well, Zlatko's already back with alcohol, and Ollie's opening his 15th or 16th one.
Coca-Cola as usual, you know.
Oh sure, yeah.
I've put about half a bottle of whiskey down my neck since the end of the oval race as well. So yeah, I'm well away.
I'm having a beer.
Half an hour ago.
The club captains, of course, under incredible pressure in the World Cup, and Zlatko and Matt both reduced to gibbering wrecks, I can imagine, as Diach and UK and I fought for those illustrious points they wanted, whereas the Finns were so relaxed and happy about it, guys. I'm sure you were all so confident of your win.
Well, actually, as someone who was with Beckman and Alkejärvi and Nukarinen and a couple of others, just 1 hour. We were 1.5 hours before the road start, watching the oval start on a restaurant together, eating some food, and we were like, well, I just hope the oval guys are doing well. We were missing some key guys, but still managed to do well, and of course we are happy. Todella tavataan, and at the same time, I don't know if it has been mentioned already, but I just, with all this happiness, with all this joy, I just like to express my deepest condolences to the victims of the French terrorist attack and their families as well. But aside from that note, we've been, of course, happy as we can be in this situation from our performance on the track today.
Very much, of course, dark cloud over Europe in the last 48 hours. Some seriously awful things have come to light and occurred. But of course, the World Cup of iRacing here is an event that really is unparalleled within, I think, a lot of gaming, in that we bring all these nations together from around the world to compete for one title. Granted, it's normally a title that Club Finland wins, but it's the thought that counts, I'm sure, as members of different clubs come together, race as a group for one goal, and that is to be the best club in iRacing. And I'm being asked by Ollie to play the Finnish national song at the end of the broadcast. I don't have the actual Finnish national song, but I do. Is
it Hail Cronky?
I do have a song that is probably close enough to being the Finnish national song, as they are quite possibly the most MLG club in iRacing. Well, we'll stop with that, of course, as the race is over, but it's been incredible.
What was that?
Tonight. And we're going to end this one on a good note, as Finland, of course, are your unofficial champions. UK and Ireland will come home in second place overall today.
And Willow's being tenner.
And Diach in third. So, incredible day overall, and, well, we will catch you all next week
Can I say
for
something?
more action.
Suomi on uusi maailmanmestari.
Kyllä.